Chapter 1581 Yin Yang Kashan, a very special treasure. Yin and Yang Kashan. Yi Tian had never heard of this name, so he asked Qiling about Yin Yang Kashan. Qiling introduced, Yin Yang Kashan is a very special treasure. Only the invincible can enter, and the supreme cannot enter Yin Yang Kashan. Moreover, if you want to enter Yin Yang Kashan, you must pass through several entrances of Yin Yang Kashan. Other ways. The entrance to Yin Yang Kashan is not fixed, and it will disappear after only a short period of time, and then it will appear in another place. Because of this, many invincibles even want to enter Yin Yang Kashan. It is impossible to enter at all, which also leads to the fact that Yin Yang Kashan is rarely known. Artifact Spirit, then how do I enter Yin Yang Kashan? Yi Tian asked. Qiling said, there is a kind of strange tree growing in Kashan of Yin and Yang. The strange tree has many cyan leaves, and a golden leaf will be born in the long years, and this golden leaf contains a trace of the power of Kashan of Yin and Yang. The nearest entrance is sensed. And there is a golden leaf in the void origin hall, and the owner will hold the leaf at that time. You can sense the nearest entrance, and let the void origin hall move the master to the entrance position, and you can enter Yin Yang Kashan. Give me the golden leaves. Yi Tian ordered. Yes, master. Qiling took out a golden leaf and handed it to Yi Tian. Yi Tian held the golden leaf and wanted to study it, but he couldn't see through the golden leaf, and only felt a faint special aura on it. There are so many wonderful things in Yuanai. Yi Tian sighed, but did not study this golden leaf too much. Afterwards, Yi Tian's cloned body left the void origin hall with this golden leaf, and sensed the location of the entrance of Yin Yang Kashan through the golden leaf. Feeling it, Yi Tian looked into the distance. One of the entrances was there, although it was the closest entrance, it was not close to him. If he flew past at his own speed, the entrance might disappear after he flew past. Therefore, Yi Tian asked the void origin hall to move himself, and instantly crossed the endless source sea area and approached the entrance. Arrive. Yi Tian saw a black vortex. This black vortex is the entrance of Yin Yang Kashan. It exists here, but there is not a single creature around. Maybe there is no invincible person who has found this entrance. After all, the source sea is too big, and the invincible person's sensing range in the source sea is too small. Sensing the entrance to the black vortex here, Yi Tian put away the golden leaves and flew into the black vortex. Yin and Yang Kashan. This is an incomparably huge mountain range. There are two suns above the void, one is a golden sun and the other is a black sun. Even the earth is half light and half dark. Here, there are only two opposing rules. The rule of Yin and the rule of Yang, the rule of light and the rule of darkness. Since there are no other rules, this is strictly an incomplete world. Once the invincible enters, it will be incompatible, and its own rules will conflict with the rules here. Therefore, the invincible cannot stay here for a long time, otherwise the body and soul will collapse. However, the rules of Yin and the rules of Yang are blended together here, the rules of light and the rules of darkness are blended together, and even the void and the earth are vaguely blended together, making this place extremely strange and special. And the invincibles comprehend the profound mystery here, comprehend the mystery of blending, and even help to the fusion of soul and body. Therefore, the invincibles who come here to comprehend are basically second-class invincibles, and it is not helpful for other invincibles to come here. At this time, the peaks of Yin Yang Kashan had second-class invincibles cultivating here, but some second-class invincibles were trembling all over, as if they were suffering enormous pain, and they were obviously going to be unable to support it. This was the backlash and conflict of the rules. Obviously, they have been comprehending here for a long time, but they are still unwilling to give up, otherwise they may not have the opportunity to enter Yin Yang Kashan next time. Yi Tian chose a small mountain at random and observed the changes in the rules here. There is such a place. Yi Tian was a little surprised. After coming here, he realized the value and usefulness of this place. For the second-class invincibles, it is really a rare treasure, and it is very helpful for the fusion of flesh and soul. Yi Tian also felt the conflict between his own rules and Yin Yang Kashan, but his physical body was very strong, so he could persist for a long time. Moreover, he can enter Yin Yang Kashan again and again, unlike other people who have to rely on luck every time he enters. So, he wasn't worried at all. At this time, Yi Tian realized the mystery of the fusion of heaven and earth, and tried the fusion of body and soul again and again, and this mysterious combination of heaven and earth, so as to find out the way and way of fusion, so as not to be confused. As time passed, a second-class invincible was forced to leave here, and occasionally a second-class invincible entered here, but it took a long time for some second-class invincibles to enter, and basically they entered a lot as soon as they came in. In this case, it was obvious that the entrance was discovered, and the other second-class invincibles were notified, so they came in together in a short time. In the blink of an eye, 3 dark calendars have passed. It's almost the limit, Yi Tian muttered. The time for others to persist is far less than that of him. He can persist for 3 dark calendars, which is already a long time. Through the comprehension of these 3 dark calendars, Yi Tian has already figured out how to complete the fusion of the physical tribulation realm and the soul robbery realm. Comprehend. So pure, Yi Tian left Zhao Qian's yin-yang kashan, and after returning to the Void Origin Hall, disintegrated this duplicate body, continued to condense a duplicate body, and let this duplicate body enter yin-yang kashan again. This time, Yi Tian changed his aura and appearance, plus the mask to hide his identity, so that he would not be easily recognized by others, otherwise it would be strange for others to see that he could enter yin-yang kashan twice. He didn't want to cause any trouble, at least not now. In the years that followed, Yi Tian entered Yin-Yang Qi Mountain again and again, comprehending the profound fusion here. Gradually, Yi Tian comprehended more and more, and he was fully confident that he could merge the physical body robbery realm and the soul robbery realm, and it would not take too long. This day, after Yi Tian came out of Yin-Yang Qi Mountain, he was not going to enter again, and there was not much help for him there. Guan shocks the realm of first class no one. Chapter 1582 I am the master of the Void Origin Palace. The Void Origin Hall, the original space. Yi Tian began to retreat and practice, merging the physical tribulation realm with the soul robbery realm. The physical robbery realm and the soul robbery realm cannot be merged at once, and then they can be promoted to the first-class invincible. Yi Tian is in the 9 tribulations realm of the body and the 9 tribulations realm of the soul, so he needs to merge 9 times, one at a time. When the fusion of the body and the soul reaches a catastrophe, it will usher in a fusion catastrophe. After all, the soul catastrophe and the physical catastrophe are also acts that violate the rules. Naturally, they have to suffer catastrophe. Absolutely will fall. Because the accumulation is not enough, the second-class invincible person with insufficient background cannot be promoted to the first-class invincible person at all. Years passed, and after consuming a lot of resources, Yi Tian finally merged the physical tribulation realm and the soul robbery realm to the level of a calamity. It was at this time that he ushered in his first fusion robbery. Boom, endless flames, thunder, and wind blades enveloped every particle of Yi Tian's body, trying to annihilate his whole body. However, Yi Tian's body is indestructible, even if it is any particle, it is difficult to be wiped out, and the first fusion robbery can't hurt Yi Tian at all. Soon, the first fusion robbery crossing 780 passed. This is a good beginning. Basically, after passing through a fusion calamity, Yi Tian's strength has improved a lot, but he is no longer a second-class invincible, but he has not reached the realm of a first-class invincible. This realm is equivalent to a half-step first-class invincible, and it is almost certain to become a first-class invincible, it is only a matter of time. The fusion process is irreversible, which means that Yi Tian must complete the fusion, otherwise, if the delay time is too long, the body and soul will conflict, resulting in the inability to exert one's strength. Because of this, when the second-class invincibles attack the first-class invincibles, they will choose to retreat for countless years in a safe place. One after another great robbery time passed, Yi Tian also completed the fusion robbery again and again. The 9th fusion robbery is the most difficult, and Yi Tian's body and soul are too strong, so his 9th fusion robbery is many times more terrifying than the 9th fusion robbery of other second-class invincibles. During the 9th fusion tribulation, Yi Tian was indeed injured, but only slightly. In the end, he survived the 9th fusion robbery. Breakthrough. Yi Tian felt the transformation of his body. At this moment, his body and soul were fused together. Each particle was both a particle of the body and a particle of the soul. It was such a special state. First-class invincibles have almost no shortcomings. If they are second-class invincibles, if the enemy uses a soul attack and the attack power is too strong, they can annihilate the souls of second-class invincibles at once. But when it comes to a first-class invincible, the body is the soul, and the soul is the body. When the two are combined, whether it is the body or the soul, there is no shortcoming. It is very difficult to kill the opponent in seconds. Moreover, the casual strike of the first-class invincible contains both soul attack and physical attack. At this time, Yi Tian broke through to the first-class invincible realm, and his strength was probably comparable to the supreme such as Tianfeng Yuanshan. As for ordinary supreme beings, he can hit them hard with a wave of his hand. At this moment, Yi Tian felt that he was no longer weak in the entire Source Sea, and had the qualifications to talk to other top beings. Tianline Realm. Yi Jinpeng has been here for many years, and he also joined Tianfenghai under the introduction of Yi Tian. After all, at the beginning, there was a Yongming level force as a backer, which was indeed much safer. Now, Yi Jinpeng has already completely refined the source of eternal soul wood in his soul talent is very high, and his physical talent is not bad, so he has broken through to the third-class invincible realm at this time. The next step is to raise the physical body robbery, so as to hit the second-class invincible, but this step takes a long time. After all, he did not have the opportunity like Yi Tian. This day, Yi Tian's cloned body came to Tianline realm and summoned his younger generation, Yi Jinpeng. Ancestor called me. Yi Jinpeng passed by immediately. Soon, he met the ancestor Yi Tian. Jinpeng pays respects to the ancestors. Yi Jinpeng said respectfully, "Very good, it's the third-class invincible realm." Yi Tian said with satisfaction. "Compared with my ancestor, I am still far behind." Yi Jinpeng said modestly. Yi Tian smiled slightly and asked, "Jinpeng, do you want to be the son of the void?" Think. Yi Jinpeng nodded again and again, but immediately said in frustration, "I know that my ancestor is the son of the void, and I also want to be the son of the void. I also went to the Void Origin Hall with a few friends before and entered the first floor of the Void Tower for the assessment. The result was a fiasco, and it is too difficult to become a son of the void. Let's go, I'll take you to the Void Origin Hall." 1. Yi Tian grabbed Yi Jinpeng with one hand, and instantly crossed the infinite distance and came to the Void Origin Hall. Yi Jinpeng had been to the Void Origin Hall once, so he was no stranger to it. "Ancestor, what are you bringing me here for? Even if I go to participate in the assessment of the first floor of the Void Tower, I will not pass." Yi Jinpeng wondered. "Tooling, come out," Yi Tian ordered. Wow, the tool spirit appeared and respectfully said, "Master, make arrangements for this junior, let him become a son of the void." Yi Tian commanded. "Yes," the spirit responded. Immediately, the tool spirit made Yi Jinpeng a son of the void, and gave Yi Jinpeng the reward of the son of the void, which was no different from the treatment of other sons of the void. It was not until he really became the son of the void that Yi Jinpeng came out of his confusion. "Ancestor, what's going on?" Yi Jinpeng was shocked. A word from the ancestor made him a son of the void. He also understands many sons. There are not many children of the void among those eternal name-level forces, and a son of the void will occasionally be born for endless long years, which shows how high the status of the son of the void is. "Because the Void Origin Palace is mine, and I am the master of the Void Origin Palace," Yi Tian said with a smile. He is not afraid of being exposed now. His body stays in the Void Origin Hall, and his own strength is comparable to the Supreme One. Even the Supreme One at the level of the Void Origin Ancestor cannot kill the one in the Void Origin Hall through a forbidden area. Therefore, he will hardly fall, so what is there to be afraid of? What? The Ancestor is the master of the Void Origin Hall. Yi Jinpeng was really dumbfounded. Chapter 1583 Eternal Resources. What a mysterious existence is the Void Origin Hall, and Yi Jinpeng never imagined that his ancestor would be the owner of the Void Origin Hall. Seriously, he really didn't quite believe it. But if Yi Tian is not the master of the Void Origin Hall, why can one sentence make him the son of the void? At this time, Yi Tian said, "Jinpeng, who crossed the first floor of the Void Tower is the son of the void, and the second floor of the Void Tower is the Void Godson. In the entire Source Sea, there are not many Void Godsons, only 39, the Tianline realm does not even have a Void Godchild. If you pass through the third floor of the Void Tower, you can become the Lord of the Void, and if you become the Lord of the Void, you can become the Lord of the Void Origin Hall. And your ancestor is me, is the Lord of the Void, and the only Lord of the Void." The old man is amazing. Yi Jinpeng admired Dao incomparably. Yi Tian said, "Next, you will practice in the Void Origin Hall, and I will disguise you as a Void Godchild, which will allow you to comprehend the Void Origin Monument all the time, but I will not give you too many points. 10,000 points. After all, it is impossible for me to help you all the time, otherwise I will make you develop a reliant temperament, which will harm you instead." Yi Jinpeng hurriedly said, "Old ancestor, you have already helped me a lot." In the days that followed, Yi Jinpeng practiced in the Void Origin Hall, often comprehending the Void Origin Monument, and his strength improved rapidly. Maybe Yi Jinpeng couldn't become the top existence in the Source Sea, but it was not difficult to become one. At that time, Yi Tian will cultivate another supreme person, and the dark forbidden area can evolve into an eternal world. And that's one of his goals. Now, Yi Tian is a first-class invincible, and all he needs to do is to continue to cultivate his cultivation base and endless source body to the peak realm, and then he can hit the supreme realm. Yi Tian can choose to condense the eternal robbery in the first-class invincible realm, or he can directly choose to break through to the supreme realm without condensing the eternal robbery. It is still beneficial to condense the eternal robbery body, at least it can increase the fit between itself and the eternal source, which can be increased to 30%, and the endless source body after the second growth can increase the fit by 50%. That is to say, after condensing the eternal robbery, Yi Tian's fit with all the eternal sources can reach 80%. Although 100% cannot absorb the eternal source perfectly, a secret method of absorbing the void source monument left by the ancestor of the void can increase the degree of fit, and there is also a treasure that enhances the fit of the void source monument, the void source heart, from a heart that devours the source dragon king. This treasure can enhance the fit by at least 30%, thus allowing Yi Tian to perfectly absorb the origin of the void origin monument. This is why the Void Origin ancestor believes that his descendants can perfectly use the Void Origin monument source plus a large number of other eternal sources to break through to the Supreme, so if Yi Tian wants to break through with a large number of various eternal origins, if so, it must condense the eternal robbery. The eternal robbery is an evolutionary version of the invincible robbery. Although the endless source body is very powerful and even completed the second growth, it still belongs to a kind of invincible robbery. Ordinary invincible robbers need a lot of special resources to evolve into invincible robbers, and countless first-class invincibles have worked hard for a long time to collect those special resources. It is conceivable that Yi Tian wants to evolve the endless source body into the endless eternal robbery body. How many special resources should he need? And these special resources are called eternal resources in the Source Sea. Treasures similar to void origin crystals are not eternal resources. The value of an eternal resource does not exceed the eternal source, but because it is too rare, it cannot be bought at all, and there is no force to sell it. Even for the Supreme Being, it is difficult to collect eternal resources. For example, Void Origin Ancestor, such a powerful existence, does not have many eternal resources, and the point is that it has not been collected. After all, the Void Origin Ancestor doesn't need eternal resources anymore. Where would he spend time collecting it? At present, the Void Origin Hall only has 16 eternal resources. For ordinary first-class invincibles, 1 eternal resource is enough. For ordinary Void Sons, more than 5 eternal resources are likely to be needed. First-class invincibles at the level of Void God Son need about 10 copies. The above eternal resources, and the Son of the Void is about 20 parts of water. But Yi Tian felt that he needed at least 25 copies of eternal resources before he dared to guarantee that he could raise the endless source body to the level of endless eternal robbery. However, the Void Origin Hall does not have 25 eternal resources, and it still lacks 9 eternal resources. Therefore, Yi Tian urgently needs to find eternal resources. For Flower Sa, the main body is in the Void Origin Hall to improve the cultivation base in the endless source body. It is time to copy the body and go out to find eternal resources. Jofun eternal resources, I don't know how long it will take to find them, you must find them in advance, otherwise you will really hit the realm of the Supreme, when there is no time to look for it. Yi Tian muttered. On the Void Origin Ancestor's side, Yi Tian doesn't expect to obtain other eternal resources, even if it is exchanged with points, no one will exchange it. The points of the Void Origin Hall cannot be exchanged for eternal resources, and no one will foolishly exchange the eternal resources for the points of the Void Origin Hall. Unless you really meet someone who is not short of eternal resources, but is there such a person in the Source Sea? Golden Ancestor. Yi Tian thought of this fallen powerhouse, but unfortunately there is no eternal resource in the opponent's Void Ball, but from the opponent's memory, Yi Tian knew a useful information. 0. Although there are no rules for the birth of eternal resources, they have one thing in common, that is, the eternal resources will be born in the place where eternal and indestructible. For example, the eternal heaven and earth, or the treasure land that exists forever, the forbidden land. Of course, the Source Sea is also eternal, so there may be eternal resources born in the void of the Source Sea. However, the Source Sea is too big, so it is too difficult to find eternal resources in the Source Sea. Therefore, many first-class invincibles want to go to those treasures that have existed for a long time or even forbidden places to find eternal resources. In particular, the forbidden area has a high probability of having eternal resources. Because of the long years, no one dares to enter, so even if the eternal resources are born, no one dares to look for them. And even if the eternal resources of the treasure land are born, they will be snatched away soon, so there is not much hope to go to the treasure land to find the eternal resources. At the beginning, Tianfeng Yuanshan found an eternal resource in the deep abyss of Yuanji, plus the eternal resource found before. This completed the final transformation in one fell swoop, and condensed the eternal robbery. And Yuanji abyss is because it is too dangerous, few invincibles go there, and there will be an eternal resource left. Artifact Spirit. Yi Tian called out the Void Origin Hall Artifact Spirit. The Tool Spirit appeared immediately, waiting for Yi Tian's order. Yi Tian said, "You should have some understanding of the many forbidden places in the Source Sea, and list some forbidden places that are very likely to give birth to eternal resources." Chapter 1584 Stealing the Lightning Source Liquid. When the Tool Spirit heard Yi Tian's words, he knew what Yi Tian was going to do, so he reminded, "Master, those forbidden places are extremely dangerous, some of them even the powerful supreme beings may fall, and the master really can't go. You should know that I have a special clone, so the main body does not need to go." Yi Tian said. Having said this, the Tool Spirit was a little relieved, and said, "Master, some forbidden places are forbidden places for the invincible, but not for the supreme, so the possibility of those forbidden places having eternal resources is not very large. From what I know of forbidden places that may have eternal resources are these." The Tool Spirit said the names of the forbidden places one by one, and also said the basic situation of each forbidden place. To Yi Tian's surprise, the forbidden area of Aa Longs was also among them. But that's right, a forbidden area like Longs is very dangerous. Even Jin Zhu felt that a forbidden area like 780 was extremely dangerous, and powerful supreme beings would not dare to step into it easily, so it might indeed contain eternal resources. Moreover, creatures like Long Zene, such as Long Weasel, actually rely on blood, and they can become second-class invincibles or even first-class invincibles when they are adults. Therefore, they do not take the path of cultivation and do not need eternal resources to condense their eternal robbery. Therefore, even if a creature like Long Weasel sees eternal resources, it will not be too moved. Therefore, there may be unowned eternal resources in Longs, and he plans to enter Longs again to look for it. This day, Yi Tian went to the forbidden area of Aa Longs, but not the main body, but let the cloned body Long Weasel enter Longs. The Long Weasel body he copied is only a second-class invincible, and his strength is indeed not strong, and it is difficult for him to exert a very strong strength, but it is absolutely safe in the Long's forbidden area, so his strength is second. Wow! Yi Tian entered the Long's forbidden land and began to search for eternal resources in the Long's forbidden land. At first, he searched outside the Long's forbidden land and did not enter the core area of Aa the Long's forbidden land. After all, the core area is very dangerous. Years passed, Yi Tian didn't know how long he searched, but he found a lot of valuable treasures, but he didn't see the shadow of eternal resources. Must go to the core area. Yi Tian thought to himself. The place where eternal resources are most likely to be born is the core area of Aa the Long's forbidden land. If you look for it outside, you may find endless years and nothing to gain. So, Yi Tian moved towards the core area of Aa Long's forbidden land. And at this time, he felt a terrifying aura coercion. The other party's aura was definitely at the level of the Supreme Being, but he didn't know the identity of the other party and what kind of creature it belonged to. But soon, Yi Tian saw this powerful and mysterious creature. Boom! In the core area, in the endless thunder, a creature similar to Thunder Dragon was sleeping there, and the breath on its body was extremely terrifying. This is AAA. Yi Tian couldn't recognize this creature, but Artifact Spirit should recognize it. Void Origin Hall. Yi Tian called the item spirit, imagined the creature's appearance, and asked the item spirit, "Artifact Spirit, do you know what kind of creature this is?" The Tool Spirit stared at the influence of this creature, and was suddenly shocked. "Master, this is the Leiyuan Ancient Dragon, one of the oldest creatures in the Source Sea. It was born in the realm of the Supreme. Even if you don't practice, your strength will still be strong. Incomparably powerful. They are eternal existences and are almost difficult to kill. Master, in the area near Leiyuan Ancient Dragon, an eternal resource will definitely be born, that is the eternal resource Leiyuan Liquid. Moreover, there may be more than one copy Lightning Source Liquid. Leiyuan Ancient Dragon." From the tone of the Tool Spirit, Yi Tian could feel how powerful this creature is, and it is feared that it is even more terrifying than a powerful and supreme being like Jin Zhu, and it is definitely the overlord in the Long's forbidden area. Perhaps Long Weasel was too weak and belonged to the creatures in Longs, so Yi Tian approached here as Long Weasel and did not wake Leiyuan Ancient Dragon. Otherwise, the opponent's sigh is enough to kill him. Yi Tian slowly searched for the Leiyuan liquid in the area where the Leiyuan Gulong was located. Because he was very careful, the speed of the investigation was very slow. After exploring for hundreds of years, Yi Tian found a copy of lightning origin liquid here. This Leiyuan liquid is in Lei. Once it enters Lei, I am afraid that it will be detected by Leiyuan Gulong. Yi Tian pondered. He did not take away the lightning source liquid for the time being, but continued to search for the lightning source liquid. Tens of thousands of years have passed in a flash, and Yi Tian has also searched all of this area. In the end, he found 3 copies of the lightning source liquid, 2 of which were not in the Lei where the ancient Leiyuan dragon inhabited, so he took all the 2 copies of the lightning source liquid. Subsequently, Yi Tian slowly retreated, without causing any fluctuations, gradually left Long's, returned to the outside world, and sent 2 copies of the lightning origin liquid to Yi Tian's hands. Then, Yi Tian continued to Long's in the identity of Long Weasel. He was going to take a risk and try to collect the thunder origin liquid. If he failed, it would only be a loss to lose this copy of his body. If it is successful, he will be able to obtain a lightning origin liquid again, which means too much to him. Razor Edge. Yi Tian stepped into it, and instantly arrived at the location of the lightning source liquid. He was about to grab the lightning source liquid with one hand and leave here. But at this moment, a voice exploded in Yi Tian's ears. "Little guy, are you going to steal my lightning source liquid? Although this thing is useless to me, it belongs to me after all." This is the voice of Leiyuan Gulong. Boom. Yi Tian saw Leiyuan Gulong's complete attributes, his eyes filled with infinite thunder stared at him, but he couldn't see any anger. "Ancestor," Yi Tian shouted in a very unscrupulous manner. After all, in terms of bloodline, the body of this dragon weasel really belongs to the race derived from the breath of Leiyuan Ancient Dragon, so there is no problem in calling Leiyuan Ancient Dragon an ancestor. "Call me Patriarch, I'll give you the Leiyuan liquid, but it doesn't help you much, at most it can help you temper your body," Leiyuan Gulong said. "Thank you Grandpa," Yi Tian thanked. Immediately, Yi Tian left Lei with Leiyuan liquid and returned to Longzi's 5.8 peripheral area. Just as he was approaching the area outside Long's, Yi Tian suddenly rushed out of Long's at the fastest speed, and was brought back to the Void Origin Hall by his body instantly. And at this time, Leiyuan Gulong arrived. Boom. Leiyuan Gulong rushed out of Long's, but it was too late to catch Yi Tian. "Damn thief!" Leiyuan Gulong roared in anger. He could see now that his so-called junior was definitely instructed by a cultivator to come to him to steal the lightning source liquid. Although he didn't care about Leiyuan liquid, he was deceived, and this was the reason for his anger. However, he didn't even know that his so-called descendants with many bloodlines were also fake. Void Origin Hall. Yi Tian looked at the 3rd copy of the lightning origin liquid and smiled. Chapter 1585 The Ancient Realm of Stars. Obtaining 3 copies of Thunder Origin liquid at one time is equivalent to 3 copies of eternal resources. If other first-class invincibles knew about it, they would definitely be envious. These 3 pieces of lightning origin liquid alone are enough to make many first-class invincibles fight desperately. Of course, for Yi Tian, 3 copies of lightning origin liquid were still not enough, and he was still short of 6 copies of eternal resources. There may be other eternal resources in Long's, but it has already angered Leiyuan Gulong, so I don't want to go to Long's. Yi Tian muttered. Immediately, he began to choose one of the other forbidden places. After choosing for a long time, Yi Tian finally chose. "Let's go to the ancient realm of stars," Yi Tian decided. The ancient star region is a special forbidden place, and it is very famous in the entire Source Sea, and it is also a forbidden place that is imprisoned. The creatures in the ancient star region can't come out, which means they are bound, but there is a powerful race living in the ancient star region, the Ancient Star Clan. The Ancient Star Clan has a unique talent in physical cultivation, but the soul talent is somewhat inferior. But even so, Jiyu Xingchen still has many supreme people. 29. Under the circumstance of being bound in the ancient star domain, the ancient star clan can still give birth to the supreme being, which shows that the ancient star domain definitely has a lot of eternal resources. There are indeed many invincibles who broke into the ancient stars and snatched the eternal resources, but more invincibles fell in the ancient stars. Based on Yi Tian's understanding of the ancient realm of stars, the supreme beings of the ancient star clan are not very powerful. After all, they are bound in a forbidden area, and many resources are lacking. It is very good to be able to cultivate to the realm of supreme beings. The realm of the supreme is to rise up again. If the supreme beings from the outside world can enter the ancient world of stars, they will naturally be able to sweep the ancient world of stars, but unfortunately the supreme beings cannot enter, and even the existence of the void originator cannot enter the ancient world of stars. When Yi Tian told Qi-Ling that he was going to enter the ancient realm of stars, Qi-Ling exhorted, "Master, the ancient realm of stars is very mysterious." The previous master had studied the ancient realm of stars for a period of time, and even sent people to the ancient realm of stars. There are also some gains. The ancient star region should be a more ancient and powerful existence with mysterious restrictions, so that the supreme being is not allowed to enter. Maybe that one has surpassed the realm of the supreme being. And the ancient star region has inheritance, this it is certain, but only the ancient star clan is allowed to enter. It is precisely because of the existence of the inheritance that the ancient star clan is so powerful. Otherwise, how could the supreme being be born in such a small area? Doppelganger, not afraid of falling, you can spy on the inheritance of the ancient star clan, maybe you can get a big chance. Decide as things go, Yi Tian said lightly. Ancient star region. It is like a transparent world surrounded by the source sea. Any invincible person can enter the ancient star domain from any location, provided that the barrier of the ancient star domain can be broken, and without the strength of the second-class invincible, it is impossible to break this layer. Barriers, and if you want to come out, the second-class invincibles are not necessarily enough, and the first-class invincibles are ensured. Therefore, only the top second-class invincibles and first-class invincibles dare to enter the ancient star region. Yi Tian's cloned body came here, picked a position at random, and immediately hit the barrier of the ancient star region. Shout out! The barrier of the ancient star region was torn apart, and Yi Tian stepped in instantly. Then, Yi Tian urged a secret treasure, pierced through the void at a very fast speed and left, away from this area of the ancient star domain. Otherwise, when the strong of the ancient star clan arrived, he would be defeated by the strong force of the ancient star clan, were besieged. At the same time, inside a great hall of the ancient star clan, an ancient star clan with a height of 10 feet opened his eyes seemed to look somewhere outside through the layers of void. Another outsider has come in, these outsiders are really desperate. The ancient star clan said angrily. He is an ancestor of the ancient star clan, that is, the supreme level. Wow, he quickly rushed to the place where Yi Tian came in, but when he arrived here, he couldn't see Yi Tian's shadow. This is normal and happens every time. However, once an outsider reveals his whereabouts and is tracked by the powerhouses of the ancient star clan, they will immediately kill each other. The environment of the ancient star region is a bit similar to the starry sky environment, and there are even stars here. 1 inch. Yi Tian secretly said. Of course, these stars are not ordinary stars. Each star is extremely huge and contains terrifying power. Moreover, the minerals and resources on each star are very rich, and their value is no less than a barren exotic world. Yi Tian perceives the rules of the ancient star region and wants to know why so many eternal resources are born here, but no matter how he investigates, there is nothing to gain. It looks very ordinary here, it seems very ordinary. Almost all of the eternal resources are in the hands of the ancient star clan, and if you want to snatch the eternal resources, you can only snatch them from the ancient star clan. Yi Tian secretly said, it is difficult to snatch the eternal resources from the ancient star clan, but why are there so many first-class invincibles who want to enter the ancient star domain to snatch the eternal resources of the ancient star clan? Is it courting death? No, because the benefits are too great. Once it succeeds once, the eternal resources that are robbed will not only be 1 or 2, but more than 1. Most of the eternal resources are indeed preserved in the ancestral land of the ancient star clan, but the ancient star clan is similar to the outside forces, and it is not monolithic. There is also competition here, and it is divided into force organizations. Therefore, some small forces also have eternal resources. If a small force is destroyed, it is possible to obtain some eternal resources. Similarly, Yi Tian also wanted to find a small force from the ancient star clan, so as to destroy the opponent and obtain their eternal resources. Soon, Yi Tian came to the vicinity of a star and used the copy talent to investigate the situation of this star. Duplicating talent shrouded the entire star, and Yi Tian detected the talents of countless ancient star clans. What? Yi Tian was a little surprised. He actually discovered that many ancient star clan actually possessed an ultimate ancestral gift called ancient star body, which is obviously a physical talent, and it is estimated that it is also the reason why ancient star clan is so excellent in physical cultivation. Yi Tian immediately copied the ancient star talent, and if he had many talents, he could merge into an eternal ancestor. Yi Tian does not lack eternal ancestor Fu, but it doesn't mean that he does not need eternal ancestral Fu. Maybe it can be merged into an ancient star of eternal ancestral Fu, and there are unexpected benefits. Immediately, Yi Tian is not in a hurry to find eternal resources, and will copy the talents of these ancient stars first. He made a plan to copy and merge them into 2 ancient stars, one for his own body, and one for copying his body. He is going to copy the body of an ancient star clan, and by the way, bestow the ancient star body eternal ancestor to the other party. Of course, this is something prepared in the later stage, prepared to spy on the secrets of the ancient star clan. Chapter 1586 The Invasion of Outsiders, Yi Tian Benefits. Among the ancient star clan, the proportion of clansmen with the ultimate ancestral ancient star body is not very large, but the number of ancient star clan members is large, so Yi Tian has no shortage of copy objects. In a short period of time, Yi Tian copied a large number of ancient stars' ultimate ancestors, and began to merge these ancient stars' ultimate ancestors in a quiet place. After a period of time, Yi Tian successfully merged these ancient stars' ultimate ancestral Fu, and obtained an ancient stars' eternal ancestral Fu. Next, Yi Tian left the ancient stars' domain, returned to the void origin hall, moved the ancient astral body's eternal ancestors to the body, and then returned to the ancient stars' domain. It was just a waste of time for him, but it would last forever. Obtaining an eternal ancestral gift with extraordinary origin is definitely earned. This day, Yi Tian came to an ancient star clan star area. There are a large number of stars and countless ancient star clans. Suddenly, Yi Tian sensed some invincibles with his copy talent, and these invincibles did not belong to the ancient star clan. Outlander. 1. Yi Tian understood. These people are afraid that they come from a certain force or a temporary combination. The purpose is to snatch eternal resources, and even have a goal, and are about to start, otherwise they will not be concentrated. Yi Tian did not show up, but hid in the dark and waited silently. If these people do it, he might be able to take the opportunity to seize the eternal resources. Without making Yi Tian wait long, these people finally started. Boom, one after another, the first-class invincibles started, killing a large number of ancient star clan powerhouses in an instant, rushing into an area. Outsiders, you dare to invade our Solomon Gate. A tall ancient star clan transformed into a huge body, madly resisting these first-class invincibles, and roared. Jingmun is a force in the ancient star clan, and it is not a very small force. Although there is no supreme, there are also many first-class invincibles. In the outside world, he is comparable to a powerful holy name, level power. The body and soul of the first-class invincibles are one. The ancient star clan's body is very terrifying, so after becoming the first-class invincible, neither the body nor the soul has any flaws, and the defense is extremely terrifying. The attacks of several first-class invincibles fell on the ancient star clan powerhouse, unable to break even his defenses. Boom! The ancient star clan powerhouse smashed several first-class invincibles with one punch, showing an invincible posture. Unexpected, the body of the ancient star clan was shrouded in a light mask, and the next moment the mask shrank. The ancient star clan was instantly annihilated. Then, the mask was put away by a first-class invincible and turned into a small golden cover. Obviously, this is a source device. In the dark, this first-class invincible is not weak, and he killed an ancient star clan first-class invincible in one blow. He should be a child of the void. Yi Tian secretly said, but there is no information about the son of the void in his information, and it is obvious that the other party has not entered the void source hall. Not all geniuses aspire to be the sons of the void. Many top forces know the situation of the void origin hall, so they will not let their juniors or members of their forces participate in the assessment of the void origin hall. Because in the Source C, there are many opportunities to be comparable to the Void Source Monument, and it is not necessary to comprehend the Void Source Monument. It is not that there are no powerhouses comparable to the Son of the Void among Solomon Gate, and soon an ancient Star Clan powerhouse comparable to the Son of the Void fought with the first-class Invincible. However, the members of Solomon Gate were not all at the headquarters, so their strength was insufficient, and the outsiders were well prepared, so the combat power completely overwhelmed Solomon Gate's ancient Star Clan. Of course, Solomon only needs to hold on for a while, and there must be a high-level ancient Star Clan to come to the rescue. Boom! Solomon's treasury was opened, and all the invincibles from outside rushed to the treasury, trying to snatch the eternal resources in the treasury. Yi Tian also wants to enter the treasure house and snatch eternal resources. But he mixed in and rushed into the treasure house, only to find that there were no eternal resources here. Eternal resources are easy to identify, and the breath is hard to hide, but there is no aura of eternal resources here, just a trace of breath remains. Eternal resources have been transferred. The other invincibles guessed. And the biggest suspicion is that the ancient Star Clan powerhouse with a combat power comparable to the Son of the Void, the Absolute Gate. The eternal resources are likely to be in the Absolute Gate, and it is very difficult for them to kill the Absolute Gate. As a result, these first-class invincibles can only snatch other resources in the treasure house to make up for the loss. After a few breaths, the invincibles all began to flee. After all, this mission is a failure, and it is almost hopeless to obtain eternal resources, so I can only leave here. Seeing that the outsider was about to leave, he breathed a sigh of relief. Although Solomon lost a lot this time, and many powerhouses died, but as long as he is still there, Solomon is still there and can recover sooner or later. But at this moment, a terrifying force acted on him. The surrounding void shattered, and even his body could not stop shattering and annihilating, and countless particles collapsed. Soon, his consciousness disappeared and he was instantly killed. Around him, a hand took his void ball away. The person who shot this is naturally Etienne. He cast the shattering void of the supreme ancestral skill level in the air, and instantly shattered the body of Juman. With the strength of his void lord, beheading a void child is naturally very simple. Although they are both first-class invincibles, the strength gap between the two sides is like a world of difference. Soon, Solomon's support arrived. A supreme being came here, and when he saw the Solomon Gate situation, he was immediately annoyed, and at the same time, he saw the body that was almost shattered. Absolute Sect was killed, of the supreme being. Juman's strength is not weak, he is famous in the entire ancient Star Clan, and has only entered the land of inheritance. Such a genius was actually killed. It stands to reason that, apart from the supreme being, there is no invincible one who can kill Ju Sect and at most damage him. What's more, the battle only happened not long ago, and killing Ju Sect in such a short time was definitely done by the Supreme. Who was pure? He suspected that it was the ancient Star Clan himself, because it was a well-known fact that the Supreme outsiders could not enter the ancient Star region. The other side, Yi Tian obtained the absolute void ball and immediately checked the resources inside the void ball. Very poor. Yi Tian doesn't look down on the resources of the Absolute Sect. After all, the ancient Star Clan is limited to the ancient Star region, so naturally it is impossible to be too rich. Except for the eternal resources, Yi Tian despised other resources. Surely there are eternal resources. Yi Tian said excitedly. Chapter 1587 4C Mirrors, the actions of the ancient Star Clan. There are 5 eternal resources in the void ball of Absolute Gate, which is quite a lot. After all, Juman has already refined a lot of eternal resources, condensed the eternal robbery, and the other first-class invincibles of Solomon need eternal resources, but in the end, there are still 5 eternal resources left. What are the eternal resources of? From this, it is conceivable that there are too many eternal resources in the ancient Star region. Having obtained 5 eternal resources this time, Yi Tian only has 1 eternal resource left. However, it is impossible for his goal to have only 1 eternal resource. What if it is still worse? After all, he is only estimating, not really affirming that he only needs so many eternal resources, so it is not wrong to prepare more eternal resources. Moreover, in the future, their relatives have the hope of hitting the realm of the Supreme, and they also need eternal resources. If he prepares more, then it will be enough. In order to prevent his own duplicate body from falling, he left the ancient Star region again, and sent these 5 eternal resources to the body. Afterwards, he returned to the ancient Star region. Ancient Star region, Ancient Star Clan meeting. The 10 supreme beings of the ancient Star Clan have all come here. Their strength is above the other supreme beings, and they are the truly invincible existences of the ancient Star Clan. This time, the 10 Supremes focused on a 780 incident, that is, the recent killing of the first-class invincibles of the ancient Star Clan. Although the invaders were all small forces of the ancient Star Clan, the number too often. Also, they didn't kill too many outer invincibles. According to the development of this situation, the ancient Star Clan people will fall into panic, and will cause more invincibles from the outside world to pour into the ancient Star region, which is not a good thing for the ancient Star region and the ancient Star Clan. Ji Yu Chen, tell me, what should we do now? We can't let the invincibles from the outside world invade like this. If we don't frighten them, if countless invincibles from the outside world flood in, we are afraid that we will be in trouble. The person who spoke was Dong He, one of the 10 Supremes. And Ji Yu Shen is also one of the 10 Supremes, and he is the chief in charge of blocking the invincibles from the outside world. Ji Yushen pondered for a while, and said, once the invincibles from the outside world are hidden, it will be difficult for us to detect them. Only when they make a move, they can lock the slaves, but they are often half a step slower. The invincibles or the unfortunate outside invincibles happen to collide with the supreme ones of our clan before they can be killed. But this is not the solution. I propose to use the eternal source of the clan, the Four Seas Mirror. Using the Four Seas Mirror. The other supremes frowned one by one, seeming to disagree. Dong said, Ji Yushen, if you use the Four Seas Mirror to cover the entire ancient region of stars, it will drastically consume the origin of the Four Seas Mirror, and we need to maintain the Four Seas Mirror all the time, so as to lock the position of those outsiders even if all the outsiders are invincible. However, the origin of the Four Seas Mirror is afraid that most of it will be consumed, and it will fall into a deep sleep, so the loss will be huge. Ji Yuchen smiled and said, actually, it's not too bad. These invincibles from the outside world are all relatively wealthy. Even if they don't bring in many treasures, if they kill them all, they can make up for some losses. Many of the resources in the outside world are ours. What the ancient star region does not have, can only be used to plunder the resources of the outside world. In addition, if it can deter the practitioners from the outside world, not many invincibles will enter the ancient star region, and we will be able to calm down for a long time. Immediately, the top 10 Supremes expressed their opinions one after another and discussed this matter for a long time. In the end, they decided to start the Four Seas Mirror. In an ancient palace of the ancient star clan, Ji Yushen, Dong He and the others came here, and there is a black mirror tens of thousands of meters high in the void. This black mirror is the Four Seas Mirror, an eternal source belonging to the ancient star clan. Any eternal source has special effects, and the special effect of the Four Seas Mirror is monitoring and locking. Ji Yuchen personally motivated the Four Seas Mirror, and soon the Four Seas Mirror released countless rays of light that slowly covered the entire ancient region of stars. Boom! The origin of the Four Seas Mirror is rapidly consumed, and an infinitely vast picture emerges on its mirror body. Soon, the cosmopolitan CJFI mirror locked the outsiders and showed their positions. Dong, you personally lead the team to kill these outsiders, and I will maintain the Four Seas Mirror here. Ji Yuchen suggested. It is good. Dong nodded. Wow. Dong tore the void and left. Soon, the supreme beings of the ancient star clan were dispatched, and there was no supreme being among the outsiders, so the result was obvious. Above an unnamed star, a young man is drinking wine with an ancient star clan beauty in a restaurant. Unexpected. Brother Gongzi's figure was frozen, and the next moment his body shattered. At this time, his original aura was exuded, and it was not the ancient star clan, but an invincible from the outside world. It's a pity that he hid well and even changed his aura, but he couldn't hide it from the Four Seas Mirror and was locked by the Four Seas Mirror. A supreme person came here and instantly wiped him out. This scene was staged everywhere in the ancient star region, and countless outsiders were bombarded and killed. Ancient star region, in the starry sky. A powerful first-class invincible outsider is being hunted down by an ancient star clan supreme. If it is not for his strong life-saving ability and the treasure bestowed by his elders, he really cannot escape. Unexpected. Another supreme being intercepted from the front. Damn, I have to leave. This first-class invincible tore a piece of golden paper, and the next moment a huge mouth swallowed him, escaped into the outside world, and disappeared. The outsider has escaped. Forget it. Continue to hunt down the other outsiders who are invincible. The supreme being of the ancient star clan said in a low voice. Anyone watching me? Yi Tian's expression changed and he felt something was wrong. In this case, it's like being locked by something. If he hadn't guessed wrong, he would have been discovered. Next moment, boom, a supreme being came from tearing the void, and as soon as he appeared, he directly used an invincible skill to kill him. Obviously, the other party came prepared. Since it's exposed, don't hide it. Yi Tian shattered the supreme skill of nothingness and directly bombarded the supreme being, and even sent the opponent flying with a single blow. The supreme being was blasted away for an unknown distance, his body was cracked, and his internal organs were shattered. Although it was not a major injury, for a supreme being, one blow was hit by the invincible one. Hurt, this is incredible. After injuring the supreme being, Yi Tian's eyes turned to a hall of the star where he was located. This is the headquarters of the most powerful force in this star, and there must be eternal resources here. Before, he wanted to slowly seek eternal resources, but now it was too late. Then grab it directly. Chapter 1588 Sneak in as the ancient star clan. Boom. Yi Tian directly attacked that great hall, and the guard formation of the great hall could not stop Yi Tian's attack at all. Click. The formations in the main hall were all shattered, and a large number of ancient Star Clan powerhouses turned into ashes in an instant. The 3 first-class invincibles tried to resist Yitian, AA, but they were beaten into nothingness by Yitian, AA, and they couldn't bear Yitian's casual strike at all. The gap between the two sides was too big. The entire hall was smashed by Yitian, AA. Yitian's hands directly shattered the void, penetrated into a treasure house in the hall, uprooted the treasure house, and took away all the void balls left by the first-class invincibles. Walk. Yitian directly tore the barriers of the ancient star region and wanted to leave the ancient star region. Not far away, the invincible saw this scene and was extremely angry. Damn outsiders. He tried hard to stop Yitian, AA, but his strength was not enough, and he was knocked into the air by Yitian again. At this time, Yitian finally succeeded in tearing apart the barriers of the ancient star region and left the ancient star region. Just after Yitian took a few breaths to leave, a person of the highest name came here, but it was a pity that he took a step back. Donghe, as one of the 10 supreme beings, also came here with a gloomy expression on his face. When he hears that a first-class invincible can injure a supreme with one blow, this has the power to kill a general supreme. Even a genius like the Void God Sun absolutely does not have such combat power. I am afraid that the other party is the most enchanting genius in the outside world. How dare such a genius enter our ancient star realm? Donghe was very puzzled. But now, the other party has left, and he can't do it if he wants to kill the other party. Void Origin Hall. Yitian came back and started sorting out the harvest this time. He opened the treasure trove and quickly found 6 eternal resources. In addition to the 5 eternal resources obtained before, this time he obtained a full 11 eternal resources. The 16 eternal resources of the Void Origin Hall itself, and the 3 eternal resources obtained by Longs. In other words, he now has a total of 30 eternal resources. With 30 resources, Yitian doesn't have to worry about eternal resources for the time being. When his cultivation level has been raised to the pinnacle of a first-class invincible, and the endless source body has been raised to the current pinnacle, he can start to condense the endless eternal robbery body. The ancient star region and the ancient star clan have a big chance, and they may even be above the Void Origin Hall. Now that there is no shortage of eternal resources, you can go and explore this opportunity. Yitian secretly said. He has already planned. He is going to copy the body of a weak ancient star clansman and send it to the ancient star region, so as to rise step by step, so that he will not be discovered, otherwise he will directly copy the body of a first-class invincible person, absolutely will be revealed soon. Because copying the body of a living first-class invincible is easy to detect, if copying a fallen first-class invincible, it means that a person has suddenly resurrected, and the ancient star clan is not stupid, so they will naturally think that he is a fake. Therefore, only copying the very weak ancient star clan people will not attract the attention of others. Before, in the battle of a star in the ancient star clan, many weak ancient star clan people were affected. Some of the ancient star clan people fell. He was going to copy one of the weak and powerless ordinary ancient star clan people. Then bestow this ancient body with eternal ancestry. In this way, this replica body can rise very quickly. Just do it, Yitian decided. He transferred the ancient star body eternal ancestor Fu on the cloned body to the invincible ancestor clone, then disintegrated the cloned body, reproduced the body of a weak ancient star clan boy, and then transferred the ancient star body eternal ancestor from the invincible first ancestor clone. Fu peeled off and integrated into the ancient star clan's body. In this way, this ancient star clan replica body has the eternal ancestry of ancient stars. This day, Yitian's body came to the ancient star region. With one hand tearing the barrier of the ancient star region, he sent the cloned body of the ancient star clan into the ancient star region, and positioned it on a star. Wow! Yitian's duplicate body appeared directly on the stars of the ancient star clan. His current identity is that of an ancient star clan youth, and his true identity will never be discovered. Boom! A supreme person came to this star, and his spiritual consciousness shrouded a large number of stars in a territory, and naturally swept over Yitian's ancient star clan body, but the other party didn't notice anything and only thought that Yitian was a real ancient star clan. Next, let's cultivate in this star. With the aptitude of this ancient body's eternal ancestors, I can improve my cultivation in a short period of time. Yitian said confidently. Soon, Yitian integrated into the environment of this star, and as his cultivation continued to improve, his reputation began to spread. Ask for flowers. Moreover, he also chose to join a peripheral force of a big force. In this way, after billions of years, Yi Tian cultivated to the ancestral realm, that is, the first ancestral realm of the human race. Before you know it, a great robbery time has passed. And Yi Tian's reputation has already resounded throughout the ancient stars, because he has broken through to the realm of the invincible, and his foundation is far stronger than other invincibles, and the combat power is very terrifying. This is because Yi Tian deliberately hides most of his strength, otherwise it is enough to make the 10 supreme beings were all shocked. With the improvement of his strength, Yi Tian gradually came into contact with the high-level officials of the ancient star region. Several times of great robbery have passed, and Yi Tian's cultivation has risen to the 4th-class invincible realm. Finally, on this day, he invited to enter the holy land of the ancient star clan. Point 0. Do you want to get in touch with the real opportunity of the ancient star clan? Yi Tian muttered. On this day, he was personally picked up by a 1st-class invincible, and soon came to the ancient star clan's holy place, Ji Yu Xing. Ancient Star is the name of the Holy Land, and it is also the origin of the name of the Ancient Star clan. When Yi Tian came here, there were many geniuses, there were 4 enemies, 3 invincibles, 2nd-class invincibles, and 1st-class talents, and there were about 100,000 Ancient Star clan geniuses. Of course, compared to the number of powerhouses in the entire Ancient Star clan, this is just a drop in the ocean. After all, it is very difficult to get a place to enter the Holy Land. It is not a real genius, and it is impossible to enter here. Unexpected, a powerful supreme being has come here. When this supreme man came here, many Holy Land guards respectfully said, "I have seen Lord Dong." East River, one of the 10 supreme beings of the ancient star clan, is the real power of the ancient star clan, far above the other supreme beings. Dong he looked at the many geniuses of the ancient star clan present and said, "Everyone, you may be wondering what it means to enter the Holy Land this time, but I want to tell you that this time is an opportunity. If you can get an amazing opportunity, you must grasp it well. This opportunity, of course, many clansmen have come here, and more than once, but every clan must seize every opportunity. After all, each clan has only 5 opportunities in his life." Soon, Dong Ha reveals a secret. After Yi Tian heard it, he was immediately shocked. Chapter 1589 The Ancient Realm of Stars is a prison. The ancient star region is a prison, Yi Tian said in shock. He originally thought that there would be the inheritance of a powerful existence in the Holy Land, or some kind of shocking eternal source, but he did not expect the truth to be like this. The ancient star region is a prison, and the so-called Holy Land is the core of the prison. At this moment, many ancient star clan geniuses panicked one by one. At this time, Dong He said, "Everyone don't need to worry, although our star ancient region is a prison, nothing can go wrong, and this prison is imprisoned and sealed by the ancestors of our ancient star clan, our ancient star clan. It is the race derived from the ancestor's breath. Without this ancestor, we would not be able to develop to the current scale. Our ultimate goal is to release this ancestor. Of course, this is very difficult. But if we do not release this ancestor, we will be punished. Always trapped in the prison of the ancient stars, and can never leave here." 780. Yi Tian listened to these words and finally understood why the ancient star clan could not leave the ancient star region. This ancient star region is a prison, and the ancient star clan is the descendant of prisoners. Naturally, there is no way to leave, and they will be blocked by the ancient star region. This is a prison, a forbidden place, but there is still a chance. And that powerful being that was sealed was the chance. What a mysterious place the ancient star region is. Even the void origin ancestor has not entered the ancient star region, but such a place is a prison. It can be seen that the imprisoned existence must be very powerful, definitely not weaker than the void origin ancestor, even stronger than void origin ancestor. Soon, Dong He brought the geniuses of the ancient star clan to a mysterious space in the Holy Land. This mysterious space is a mysterious space created by the ancestors of the ancient star clan after a long time to finally deliver some power, and in this mysterious space there is a treasure left by the mysterious existence, the ancient star stone. Under the influence of the ancient star stone, this space has been turned into a treasure land. The genius of the ancient star clan can absorb the power of the ancient star stone through the talent of the ancient star body, making the body and soul stronger, even if it has a certain effect on the first-class invincible, but every ancient star clan can absorb the power of the ancient star clan. Power has limits. The ancient star stone is the eternal source, and the compatibility between the ancient star tribe and the eternal source ancient star stone is 100%. Yi Tian completely understood at this moment. Strictly speaking, the ancient star stone is the real eternal source of the ancient star clan. It is a small chance to absorb the ancient star stone to strengthen the physical soul. It is hidden in this ancient star tower. If you can get his approval, you can get his guidance and part of the inheritance. The ultimate goal of the ancient star clan is to cultivate a supreme being who can save the ancestors, but it has not been cultivated so far. At this moment, Yi Tian is thinking about one thing, that is, will he change to attract the attention of the imprisoned ancient star clan ancestor? If he does not attract the attention of the other party, he is afraid that he will not be able to gain much benefit. Although the opportunity of the ancient star stone is also good, but he is copying the body and cannot bring benefits to the main body. After much deliberation, Yi Tian decided to attract the attention of the ancient star clan ancestor. Near the ancient star stone, Yi Tian motivated the ancient star's eternal ancestors and began to absorb the source power from the escape of the ancient star stone. Boom! A large amount of ancient star stone source power poured into Yi Tian's body, which was absorbed and refined by him, forming a source vortex. This is something that has never happened since the ancient star stone space was opened, and it has attracted the attention of many ancient star clansmen for a while. With the passage of time, Yi Tian's copying body's strength is getting stronger and stronger, and both his body and soul are soaring wildly. What happened? Many invincibles are stunned. How can there be invincibles so quickly absorb the source power of the ancient star stone? This is too abnormal. Soon, Donghe, the supreme person in the outside world, also learned about the situation in the ancient star stone space. As a result, Ji Xingxi immediately summoned several other 10 supremes. Dong, is there something wrong with the Holy Land? Dong, what did you ask me to do? I'm still cultivating. Dong, did someone from outside break into the Holy Land? An unnamed person asked. You will know when you probe your consciousness into the ancient star stone space. Dong, he said. Whoa. The consciousness of a famous person penetrated into the ancient star stone space and sensed Yi Tian's situation, and they were immediately stunned. The speed of absorbing the source power of the ancient star stone is many times faster than we did at the beginning. Ji Yushen was shocked. Could it be? Another supreme person, Kai Yong, had some guesses and said, could it be that his ancient star talent is above all of us? Ji Yushen said. Many people in our ancient star clan have ancient star talents, and the best of them have ancient stars at the ultimate ancestral level, but this is a 4th-class invincible clan. His ancient star talent is probably beyond the ultimate ancestry. The other supreme beings looked shocked, and a talent level emerged in their minds: eternal ancestors. The ancient star family has never been born with an ancient star of the eternal ancestral level. This is the first time. One can imagine how important this is to the ancient star clan. Maybe train this person well and hopefully help the ancestors out of trouble. Dong, he muttered. Ancient star stone space. Yi Tian continued to absorb the source power of the ancient star stone. He knew that he had attracted the attention of those supreme, and perhaps even attracted the attention of the ancestors of the ancient star clan. However, he didn't panic at all. After all, from his body to his soul, he is a real ancient star clan, and no one can detect his identity. Time passed slowly. Yi Tian absorbed more and more ancient star stone source power. Even if he couldn't take it away, he would not waste this absorption, otherwise it would arouse the suspicion of other ancient star clan, so he would absorb himself limit. Finally, one day, Yi Tian felt the limit of his body. If he absorbed it to the limit, it would affect his future impact on the supreme realm, and then he stopped absorbing. At this time, the strength of his copy body has also improved a lot. It's time to go to the ancient star tower on 5.8. Yi Tian secretly said. Wow. Yi Tian flew to the ancient star pagoda, secretly took a deep breath, and then stepped into the ancient star pagoda. Yi Tian didn't know what was in the ancient star pagoda, and the other ancient star clan people who came out of the ancient star pagoda wouldn't reveal much. He only knew that entering the ancient star pagoda would go through some tests, but Yi Tian found that he had not gone through the tests. Boom. A powerful consciousness came to Yi Tian, which was similar to Jin Ze's original consciousness, but the consciousness in front of him was much more terrifying than Jin Ze's. When he saw this consciousness, Yi Tian realized who the consciousness was in front of him. He must be the ancestor of the ancient star clan, that mysterious and powerful existence, who needs the entire ancient star domain to be turned into a prison to suppress. Chapter 1590 The Division of the Eternal Body. I have seen my ancestor. 1 inch. Yi Tian looked respectful. After all, he is the identity of the ancient star clan now, because he is naturally more respectful to this mysterious existence, otherwise how can he get benefits? You are very good. Mysterious consciousness opened the mouth. Thank you for your praise. Yi Tian said. At this time, the mysterious consciousness began to introduce itself. My name is Xing, and other supreme beings call me Xing Ancestor. I am the oldest being at the beginning of the Source Sea, and my physique is extremely powerful. However, his combat power is far beyond the realm of the other 9-layer supreme beings. Unless you have crossed the level of the supreme being in half a step, you are qualified to compete with me. Unfortunately, I have encountered a great enemy, who not only I only crossed the supreme being in half a step, and I have walked on that step for a long time. I am only one step away from crossing the supreme realm and stepping into a new realm. In fact, the enemy can't kill me. Because my body is too strong and my recovery ability is too strong, almost immortal, so he sealed me. 1. Yi Tian listened, but was shocked inside. 29. This ancient existence named Xingzhu is so powerful, and its life-saving ability is so strong, not to mention the issue of strength. The life-saving ability alone is more powerful than the Void Yuanzu. After all, the Void Yuanzu fell and died, and the Xingbot still alive. But in terms of combat power, Star Ancestor should be similar to Void Origin Ancestor. The Supremes are divided into 9 layers, and the 9 is the highest, and according to his understanding, the Void Origin Ancestor has stepped out of the 9-layer Supreme, and half a step has crossed the realm of the Supreme, so his strength is very powerful, but the Xingzhu's body is too strong. Therefore, the combat power of the two sides should be comparable. Xingzhu said a lot, but he was talking about how powerful he was in his resentment towards the enemy. Old Ancestor, how can I rescue you? Yi Tian said these words. If he didn't say it, he would not be valued by Xing Ancestor, and would even be suspected by Xing Ancestor. Seeing that Yi Tian was so eager to save himself, Xingzhu was very relieved and said, if you want to save me, the minimum requirement is to have the realm of the 7th level Supreme, and it is extremely difficult to improve each level of the Supreme. The Supreme are only triple Supreme, their ultimate potential is at most quadruple Supreme, so they can't save me, but you are different. You have an ancient star at the level of eternal ancestry, and there is hope that you will reach the 7th level Supreme in the future. Quote. Yi Tian asked, Patriarch, can one talent decide the future? Of course I can't decide. Xingzhu smiled and said, but the ancient star is not simple. I didn't have an ancient star at first, but there were many good things at the beginning of the Source Sea. I got a treasure and created the ancient star, and in the end, the ancient star source body was created. There are many kinds of source bodies in the Source Sea, and the source body of each faction is different. However, the source body is roughly divided into ordinary source body, top source body, and God source body, eternal body. But the ancient star source body can be ranked in the eternal body, and it is the upper eternal body. Yi Tian heard it. The ordinary source body is like the invincible robbing body condensed by the invincible body robbing method like the sky, the wind and the sea. The top source body is equivalent to the return to the ruins of Wanyuan, and the source body of God is equivalent to the achievement of ordinary children of the void. Void origin, and the perfect void source body and even Yi Tian's endless source body belong to the eternal body. Void origin ancestors' void origin should be the lower eternal body, while Yi Tian's endless origin should belong to the middle eternal body. However, the ancient star source body is the upper eternity body. If the ancient star source body of the upper eternity body is raised to the level of the eternal robbery, how powerful is it? Ancestor, can you cultivate 2 eternal bodies at the same time? Yi Tian asked. He doesn't want to give up the endless source body he created, and the endless source body is the most suitable eternal body for him. It would be a pity to give up. Therefore, if it is possible to cultivate 2 eternal bodies at the same time, then there is no need to worry. Yes. Star Ancestor gave a positive answer. It is naturally possible to cultivate 2 eternal bodies, but it is very difficult. First, you must split a clone and let the clone cultivate another eternal body. After practicing another kind of eternal body, you can try to integrate the clone with the main body, but the clone itself will be affected by the main body. It is very difficult to practice another eternal body, and the problem of fusion is even more difficult. If the 2 eternal bodies want to fuse, if they fail, either the main body or the clone will be damaged, the kind that hurts the foundation. In the Source Sea, there are treasures that can help the 2 eternal bodies fuse, such as Nothingness Holy Crystal. This kind of treasure can help the fusion of the 2 eternal bodies, which can increase the chance of success by half, but even I have not obtained such a treasure. Void Sacred Crystal. Yi Tian didn't think that he could get such a treasure, but it didn't mean that he couldn't succeed. He can let this copy body cultivate the ancient star source body, and he also has an invincible ancestor clone, plus the main body, a total of 3 bodies. In order to ensure that the body's foundation is not damaged, it is completely possible to make the invincible ancestor clone and the cloned body fuse again and again. Even if it fails, the price to pay is not very large. If he completely masters the fusion technique, when the success rate reaches nearly 100%, he can make the duplicate body fuse with the main body, so that the main body has a new powerful eternal body after the fusion of the two eternal bodies. In that case, his eternal body is afraid that it will surpass the general upper eternal body and reach the highest level of eternal body. He didn't reveal this secret to Xingzu, and he didn't even ask about the fusion of the eternal body, otherwise it would be easy to cause suspicion if he talked too much. Afterwards, Star Ancestor began to guide Yi Tian to practice, and passed on to Yi Tian the real ancient star source body method. The real ancient star source body method must have the ancient star talent of the eternal ancestral level, in order to condense the real ancient star source body, and the other ancient star clan powerhouses only condense the incomplete and weakened version of the ancient star robbery body, but also it surpassed the top body robbing method of the outside world. Xingzu did not know that Yi Tian was an outsider, but regarded Yi Tian as his hope of getting out of trouble, and helped Yi Tian wholeheartedly, explained and guided the ancient star source body method again, and even let the ancient star clan hang and beat a large number of people. Resources to help Yi Tian grow. Before you know it, dozens of times of great robbery have passed. With the help of Star Ancestor and the ancient star clan, Yi Tian's copy body of the ancient star clan has already reached the first-class invincible state. The source body of the ancient star clan has also completed the second growth, and has the eternal resources provided by the ancient star clan. The source body also completed the promotion and became the eternal robbery body of Ji Yuxing. In addition, Yi Tian has also created a supreme technique that fits the ancient star clan, so at this moment he can absorb the source of the ancient star stone at any time, and then use the source of the ancient star stone to absorb the source of other eternal sources, thus impacting the supreme boundary. That's right, the origin of the ancient star stone is like the void origin monument, and at the same time allows Yi Tian to absorb the origin of other eternal sources, which is also the strength of the ancient star stone. This day, Yi Tian is ready to attack the realm of the Supreme Being. Once this cloned body reaches the realm of the Supreme Being, he will choose to annihilate the clone of the Dark Forbidden Area, transform the cloned body of the ancient star clan into a clone, and stay in the ancient realm of stars all the time. Even in the future, it will completely occupy the ancient realm of stars. As for Xingzu, he would not really help him out of trouble. With the resources provided by the ancient star clan, he will not lack eternal resources in the future, and there are enough resources to fuse the two eternal bodies again and again. Chapter 1591 Supreme. Ancient Star Clan, Ancient Star Stone Space. Yi Tian came here again and started to make a breakthrough with the help of the ancient star stone source. At the same time, the ancient star clan also prepared a variety of eternal sources. It is a pity that the ancient star clan is sealed here, so there are very few eternal sources that can be found. If it wasn't for cultivating Yi Tian, they would not be able to come up with so many sources of eternal sources. Boom! A large number of ancient star stone sources poured into Yi Tian's body and were absorbed and refined by Yi Tian, prompting Yi Tian's body to begin to change. At this time, Yi Tian absorbed the source of other eternal sources into the body, making the changes of the body more and more violent, and the breath more and more powerful. This is the process of advancing from invincible to supreme. Yi Tian, an ancient star eternal body with a condensed body, ranks in the upper eternity body, so once he breaks through, the strength increase will be huge. Inside the ancient star tower, Star Ancestor's consciousness saw that Yi Tian was breaking through, and was immediately very relieved. Yi Tian's foundation is very solid, although the condensed ancient star eternal body is not very perfect, but it is second only to the former him. As everyone knows, if Yi Tian wants to condense a flawless ancient star eternal body, he can do it, but he needs to use the cloned body to try to cultivate again, and he will perfect it again, and he naturally does not have such an opportunity when he cultivates here in the ancient star clan. Therefore, Yi Tian's ancient star eternal body actually still has dozens of flaws, but it is still very powerful. In terms of strength, the combat power of this body is not as good as the main body, and the gap is still a little big. After all, the foundation and the perfection of the ancient star body are not good, but the combat power of the Lord of the Void should not be far behind. However, Yi Tian didn't care about this replica body at all, and he would definitely use it for research in the future, so naturally he didn't care so much. Breakthrough. When you step into the realm of the 7th level Supreme, you can help me break a single seal, and I can use all my strength from the seal to break the seal. Xingzu secretly said. Time passed slowly, and after a long time, Yi Tian finally completed his breakthrough. Breakthrough, Yi Tian muttered. At this moment, his cloned body has already reached the realm of the Supreme Being. Although it is only the realm of the first-level Supreme Being, it should surpass the 10 Supreme Beings of the ancient Star Clan in terms of strength. However, he is not in a hurry to turn against the ancient Star Clan. After all, his foundation in the ancient Star Clan is too weak. Even if he can beat the top 10, he still cannot do it if he wants to rule the entire ancient Star Clan. Therefore, he will slowly control the ancient Star Clan and collect the eternal resources of the ancient Star Clan. In addition, Yi Tian annihilated the clone that he had left in the Dark Forbidden area, and used the ancient Star Clan's body as a new clone. In the following days, Yi Tian seemed to be a different person in the ancient Star Clan, focusing on power and collecting resources, which made many supreme people gradually dissatisfied, but Xingzu did not care. He did not take the ancient Star Clan at all. Truly his own offspring. The ancient Star Clan is nothing but the descendant of his aura. All he needs is an assistant who can help him get out of trouble, so even if Yi Tian does too much, he will not be unhappy at all. With the passage of time, Yi Tian has collected a lot of eternal resources, and the strength of this replica body is also improving rapidly. As for Yi Tian's body, he had already condensed his endless eternal robbery, and his cultivation had reached the pinnacle, and he could become the supreme realm at any time. Yi Tian is not prepared to delay. Anyway, the fusion of the eternal body can also be carried out in the supreme realm. He now needs to raise the cultivation base of his body to the realm of the Supreme Being, so that his strength will be strong enough to obtain more benefits. Void Origin Hall. Yi Tian began to attack the realm of the Supreme. He directly expelled all the children of the Void from the Void Origin Hall, and no longer let the Void Origin Monument to enlighten these children of the Void. Whoa. A son named Void was comprehending the Void Origin Monument, but found that it was suddenly interrupted, and then he was moved out of the Void Origin Hall. They were very puzzled and wanted to enter the Void Origin Hall, but found that they could not enter. What happened, Ada? The 10 sons of the Void were puzzled. Immediately, they began to contact other children of the Void, and the same was true of other children of the Void, and they could not enter the Void Source Hall at all. Soon, there was a message from a powerful Supreme Being that the Void Origin Hall had a master. As soon as this news came out, a large number of Void children in Yuanai were shocked. For a long time, the Void Origin Hall had no owner, but now it has a master. They still dared to go in and comprehend the Void Origin Monument without a master. Now that they have masters, even if they are allowed to enter, they will not dare to enter. Soon the sons of the Void were very curious as to who controlled the Void Origin Hall. Too bad they couldn't find it. All over the Source Sea. Each and every one of the Void God Sons was very surprised when they learned that the Void Origin Hall had a master. The Void Origin Hall has existed for such a long time, and only dozens of Void God Sons have been born, but none of the Void God Sons have been promoted to the Lord of the Void, so they cannot control the Void Origin Palace, but now suddenly there is a Void God Son who has become the Lord of the Void, controlled the Void Origin Hall. Who is this Lord of the Void? However, they didn't think too much about it. Even if they couldn't become the Lord of the Void, they could continue to become stronger in the future, and they were not necessarily inferior to the mysterious Lord of the Void. Inside the Void Origin Hall, Yi Tian came to the Void Origin Monument and began to absorb the Void Origin Monument according to the secret technique of the Void Origin Ancestor, and at the same time took out a piece of Void Origin Heart. After all, his body is not like the ancient Star Clan's body, it is 100% compatible with the ancient Star Stone's origin. Therefore, if he wants to forcibly improve to the level of 100% fit, he must use the Void Origin Heart. Boom! The Void Origin Heart was placed at the heart by Yi Tian, and began to absorb and refine it, making the body and the Void Origin tablet fit 100% all of a sudden. Yi Tian's body senses the call of the Void Origin, and this is the performance of 100% fit. So, Yi Tian immediately absorbed the source of refining the Void Origin Monument. With the source of a large number of Void Source tablets being absorbed and refined by Yi Tian, Yi Tian can accommodate the source of other eternal sources at this time. There are hundreds of eternal sources in the Void Origin Hall, which are even purer than the eternal sources possessed by the ancient Star Clan. Therefore, Yi Zhaoqian's heaven does not lack the source of eternal source. A variety of eternal sources have been absorbed and refined by Yi Tian, making his foundation more and more terrifying. In addition, although his endless eternal body is only ranked in the middle eternal body, it is the most perfect eternal body. Much stronger than the ancient star eternal body with dozens of flaws. Therefore, Yi Tian has broken through to the Supreme Realm, and his combat power will be extremely terrifying. A large amount of resources were sent to Yi Tian under the control of the artifact spirit, providing energy for him to break through the Supreme Being. Before you know it, a long time has passed. Finally on this day, Yi Tian completed the breakthrough. He became a Supreme Being. At this time, the Dark Forbidden Realm seems to have undergone some changes. The source of the Dark Forbidden Realm is suddenly much stronger. This is because Yi Tian has broken through to the Supreme Realm, and the Dark Forbidden Realm has received feedback. But the breakthrough of only one person is far from being able to make the Dark Forbidden area qualitatively change. It also takes two invincibles to break through to the Supreme, and the Dark Forbidden area will transform to the level of the Eternal World. Chapter 1592 The Original Source Liquid. Another long time passed. With the help of the resources of the ancient Star Clan and the guidance of the Star Ancestor, Yi Tian's cultivation has improved very quickly, and now he is approaching the realm of the second level Supreme. The breakthrough of each realm of the Supreme Being is very difficult. Without sufficient potential, resources and opportunities, it is very difficult to break the shackles and advance to the next realm. Even if Yi Tian's talent is very evil, it is not easy to be promoted to the second level Supreme. Xingzu didn't want to wait for the descent slowly, so he spent a little strength and forcibly sent out a treasure, the original source liquid. This is a kind of cultivation resource that existed at the beginning of Yuanai. It can improve the breakthrough probability of the Supreme Person by almost 100%, but it is only of great help to the Supreme Person below the 4th level. For the Supreme Person above the 4th level, it helps it's not too big, at most it increases the probability of breaking through by 10% or 20%. After Star Ancestor sent some primordial source liquid at a cost, his consciousness in the ancient Star Pagoda was somewhat blurred. He looked at Yi Tian and warned, Shu Chen, these are primordial source liquid, which can help you break your shackles and advance to promotion. For the second level Supreme Being, it can always help you break through to the realm of the 4th level Supreme Being 780. After you break through to the 4th level Supreme Being, it will not be of much help, but I will help you to do more at that time. Quickly ascend to the realm of the Supreme Being of the 5th and 6th levels. 1. Shu Chen, also known as Yi Tian, took over the primordial source liquid and was quite shocked in his heart. He also did not expect that there is a treasure like primordial source liquid. If it were spread out, it would cause the greed and competition of countless Supreme Beings. However, are there any disadvantages to taking the original source liquid? Void Origin Hall. Yi Tian asked Qi Ling. Qi Ling, do you know the original source fluid? The Tool Spirit immediately replied, Master, the primordial source fluid is a resource that appeared at the beginning of the Origin Sea. It is very rare, and it no longer exists now. Only some ancient Supreme Beings have the primordial source fluid. It can help the Supreme Being below the 4th level breaks the shackles and improves the realm, but it has some defects, mainly if you encounter the original source liquid, it is best not to take it, but choose to trade it out. Defect. What is the defect? Yi Tian asked curiously. Qi Ling said truthfully. The only drawback of the original source fluid is that it will consume the CJFI potential of the Supreme Being, which is usually invisible, but once you have cultivated to the peak state of the Supreme Being, it is difficult to cross that half step. Such as ascending to the sky. Once, many ancient and powerful Supreme Beings took too much primordial source fluid. Although their cultivation realm was very fast, when they cultivated to the pinnacle of the 9th level Supreme Being, no matter how amazing their combat power was, even able to compete with the existence of the half-step over the Supreme Being, but still unable to break through. In the end, the Supreme Beings realized that the original source fluid has this defect. Of course, many Supreme Beings will never be able to break through to the realm of the 9th level Supreme Being, they don't care about this flaw either. Therefore, many Supreme Beings still yearn for the original source fluid. But the Master is different from you. In the future, you will definitely be able to easily reach the realm of the 9th level Supreme Being, and even hope to surpass the previous Master, so you cannot take the original source fluid. So it is. Yi Tian completely understood. Xing Ancestor is cheating him. Xing Ancestor used to use the original source fluid to break through to the realm of the 9 Supremes, so he has been trapped in this realm. Now, if he wants to get out of trouble, he quickly raises him up, and doesn't care about his potential, and doesn't even want him to surpass himself. For Star Ancestor, as long as he can get out of trouble as soon as possible, what is the potential of sacrificing a descendant? It's a pity, Xingzu, you underestimate me, I'm just a duplicate body. Yi Tian muttered. Since it is to copy the body, Yi Tian naturally doesn't care about potential. Since Star Ancestor gave him the original source fluid, he should use it to improve his strength as soon as possible, so that he has enough strength to sweep the ancient star clan. Subsequently, Yi Tian used the primordial source fluid to start to attack the realm of the two-level supreme, and the result was very easy to break the shackles. After breaking through to the realm of the second-level supreme being, Yi Tian's strength skyrocketed, and now he is afraid that he can easily defeat the 10 supreme beings of the ancient star clan. However, Yi Tian did not start immediately, but continued to practice. Anyway, the potential of this body has been exhausted, so he collected various consumption potentials and forbidden techniques to improve his strength, coupled with the various resources of the ancient star clan. In just a few big robbery time, he has improved his cultivation base to the peak of the double supreme, and then used the original source fluid to break through the realm again. In this way, Yi Tian broke through to the realm of the triple supreme. But it is more difficult to break through from the realm of the third supreme to the realm of the fourth supreme, so Yi Tian is not prepared to delay. With his current strength, it is not difficult at all to kill the 10 supreme beings of the ancient star clan. This day, Yi Tian summoned the 10 supreme beings of the ancient star clan and invited them to a meeting. For Yi Tian's invitation, the 10 supreme beings of the ancient star clan naturally would not lose face, and they all came to Yi Tian's palace. "Shu Chen, do you have anything to do with us?" Dong asked. Seeing the arrival of the 10 supreme beings one by one, and sitting down, Yi Tian suddenly activated the formation, and mobilized one of the ancient star clan's Gen clan source artifact, Junkong Xinghe. This is a top-notch source that blocks time and space, and it can block this place, so that the top 10 supreme cannot escape. Seeing that Yi Tian had blocked the time and space, Dong He was immediately furious. "Shu Chen, what do you mean? The ancient star clan will be under my control, and you don't need to exist anymore," Yi Tian said coldly. Immediately, Yi Tian's aura burst out. Compared with Yi Tian, the 10 supreme beings are just like ants, they are simply too weak. "Shu Chen, if you do this, aren't you afraid of the ancestors?" Ji Yu Chen moved out of Xingzhu. "You mean Xingzhu?" Yi Tian sneered. "He still expects me to save him, but I won't save him, he will be suppressed for the rest of his life." "You are crazy, when our ancestors come out, we can also leave the ancient star region and stay in the ancient star region for the rest of our lives, and you can't rise to a higher realm." Dong He roared. "No, I don't care about that," Yi Tian said. Seeing that the 10 supreme leaders could not move Yi Tian, they shot together, they could not sit still. And Yi Tian stopped talking nonsense and started directly. As soon as they made a move, they found out how powerful Yi Tian was. All the powerful supreme skills were displayed by instinct, and their combat experience was many times richer than theirs. Moreover, every blow from Yi Tian was enough to hit them hard. Soon, a supreme being was killed by Yi Tian. Chapter 1593 Take charge of the ancient star clan. After the first supreme being was killed, the other supreme beings couldn't bear Yi Tian's attack one by one. Soon the second supreme was killed and the third supreme was killed. The strength gap between them and Yi Tian is too big, like a world of difference. Otherwise, the strength gap is not big, it is very difficult for Yi Tian to kill them. Soon, among the 10 supreme beings of the ancient star clan, only Dong He and Ji Yu Shen were left, but they were also severely injured and could not hold on for long. "Why?" Ji Yu Shen questioned. He was really puzzled. What was the benefit of killing them, and even if he really didn't want to release Xingzhu, it wouldn't be enough to kill them. But Yi Tian deliberately wanted to kill them, and did not give them a chance to surrender. Ji Yu Chen and the others couldn't think of the reason, and Yi Tian wouldn't explain it to them. Boom! During their battle, this ancient star that belonged to Yi Tian completely turned into dust. Time and space were shattered, the rules were annihilated, and the endless impact swept the surrounding territory, but under the suppression of the sky and the galaxy, their battle was limited to a small area, and it was difficult to transmit it, so there was no other supreme person to support. However, even if they came to help, they would not be able to save them. After all, even the top 10 supreme beings have been defeated, what can those ordinary supreme beings do? After a while, Ji Yu Chen's body shattered into pieces, he could no longer heal, and the vitality of his body completely dissipated. Ancient Shen, fall. At this time, Dong He was really scared, he didn't want to die. After all, he exists forever, has an infinite lifespan, and is one of the 10 supreme beings of the ancient star clan. "Shu Chen, please forgive me, I am willing to be loyal to you forever," Dong pleaded. However, Yi Tian ignored Dong He's plea for mercy. Boom! With one punch, the terrifying force directly shattered Dong He's body, directly killing the dying Dong He. So far, the 10 supreme people of the ancient star clan have all died. After these supreme beings fell, Yi Tian put away Junkong Xinghe. This source tool was given to him by the ancient star clan after he became the supreme one. I have to say that this source tool is thanks to this source tool. Otherwise, the top 10 supreme beings would have to run away and give it to him at that time. To create some trouble, it is still a little troublesome for him to completely rule the ancient star clan. Subsequently, Yi Tian summoned the other supreme beings of the ancient star clan and a large number of first-class invincibles. These ancient star clan members are high-ranking members of the ancient star clan, and he wants to call these ancient star clan members to declare his status. Ancient star clan headquarters, one after another, and a large number of first-class invincibles came one after another. Seeing that Yi Tian was the only one, but not the other 10 supreme beings, he was very curious. It stands to reason that Yi Tian should not be the only one in such a meeting. Moreover, Yi Tian also sat on the most central throne, the meaning of which was very clear. Some ancient star clan people began to contact the 10 supremes secretly, but they didn't have any doubts, they just wanted to ask why the 10 supremes did not come to the meeting. But soon, their expressions changed. They can't even get in touch with the top 10 supreme beings. If they can't get in touch with one of them, it can be said that they are in retreat, shutting down their perception and regardless of external affairs. But if you can't get in touch with all of them, that's a big problem. At this time, the supreme being of the ancient star clan, Crow, asked, Lord Shuchen, how about several adults such as Dong He? I just contacted them but couldn't get in touch. 1. Yi Tian said lightly, they are dead. What, Lord Dong, how could they die? Many ancient star clan people were shocked and couldn't believe it. At this time, Yi Tian continued, the 10 of them wanted to besiege me, but they underestimated my strength and were killed by me. I don't believe it, Crow said angrily, Master Dong can't possibly attack you. Could it be that I killed them on purpose? Yi Tian said coldly. Kei Luo did not speak, but the expression on his face clearly did not trust Yi Tian. This is also normal, after all, Yi Tian has only risen for a short time, and he has lived together with the supreme beings such as Dong He for endless years. Comparatively speaking, Crow and the others believed in Dong He more than Yi Tian. Dong and the others have fallen, from today onwards, the ancient star clan is under my control, and I am the ancient star clan's patriarch. Yi Tian announced. I disagree, Crow retorted. Who else doesn't agree? Yi Tian asked coldly. A Minggu star clan powerhouse stood up and expressed his disagreement. At this moment, Yi Tian started. Boom! A terrifying force swept across the audience, locking in those ancient star clan powerhouses who disagreed. The next moment, these ancient star clan powerhouses were crushed into powder by terrifying power. Even the supreme being, Yi Tian crushed with one hand and died when he fell. Who else dares to object? This is the end. Yi Tian stood up and said. A for Flowersa. Whoa whoa whoa. One of the Minggu star clan members knelt down one after another and said, I have seen the patriarch. That's right, they were cowardly and did not dare to resist Yi Tian. In this way, Yi Tian forcibly got the approval of the senior officials of the ancient star clan. In the following years, the news of Yi Tian becoming the patriarch of the ancient star clan spread. Many people of the ancient star clan were a little unconvinced, but their strength was too low, so they could not resist. As the years passed, Yi Tian's prestige became bigger and bigger, so the entire ancient star clan acquiesced to this matter, and after all, they couldn't resist. Subsequently, Yi Tian announced one more thing, that is to block the ancient star stone space and not allow other clansmen to enter it. This rule aroused opposition from many people, but after Yi Tian bombarded and killed a group of ancient star clan people, this rule was carried out. Point 0. Star Ancestor's consciousness has been staying in the ancient star tower, so he does not understand the outside world. But with the passage of time, other people in the outside world have not entered the ancient star stone space, and the Star Ancestor also began to doubt. This day, Yi Tian came to the ancient star pagoda and wanted to ask the Star Ancestor, but the Star Ancestor asked directly, Shu Chen, why hasn't an ancient star clan entered the ancient star stone space these years? Yi Tian said with a smile, I discussed it with other supreme beings and decided not to open the ancient star stone space in the future, and I also plan to take the ancient star stone away. After all, the Star Ancestor has already chosen me, and there is no need to continue cultivating other geniuses of the ancient star clan. After all, the resources of the ancient star domain are limited, and they must be properly arranged. 1. It is so. Xingzu nodded slightly, but said nothing. Yi Tian stayed in the ancient star pagoda for a few days and asked some questions before leaving the ancient star pagoda. When Yi Tian left, Xingzu's face became extremely gloomy. Damn Shuchen, I trained you, you dare to have other thoughts. Star Ancestor was extremely angry. Although he didn't know what was going on outside, it was definitely not a trivial matter. Shu Chen would probably betray him and would not even release him. Shu Chen was his only hope of getting out of trouble. He couldn't offend Shu Chen, or he would have been torn apart just now. Shortly after, Yi Tian took the ancient star stone away from the ancient star stone space. After all, he plans to study the fusion of the two eternal bodies in the next few years. If it is successful, he must recultivate the copy body and promote it to the supreme with the most perfect foundation. Therefore, it is necessary for the ancient star stone to recultivate the ancient star eternal body and be promoted to the perfect and flawless ancient star eternal body. Therefore, he cannot lack the ancient star stone. Chapter 1594 Legendary Eternal Body. Yi Tian sent out all the resources, eternal source and ancient star stone, and brought the main body back to the Void Origin Hall. Then, he began to announce the closure. No one should disturb him. Then, Yi Tian annihilated his body. After all, this cloned body belongs to the Ancient Star Clan, and cannot leave the Ancient Star region, and the Supreme Being cannot enter the Ancient Star region. So, he can only come out this way. Void Origin Hall. Yi Tian's main body, duplicate body and avatar all appeared here. The cloned body copied by Yi Tian and the clone that has been recondensed are all in the realm of the first level supreme, so if the cultivation base is consistent, the fusion of the eternal body can be carried out. In the following years, Yi Tian began to duplicate the body and fuse the clone again and again. One is the endless eternal body, and 780, is the ancient star eternal body. For the fusion of the eternal body, Yi Tian was very unfamiliar at the beginning. Even a strong person like Star Clan had no experience with the fusion of the eternal body, so everything needed Yi Tian to explore by himself. The failures did not hit Yi Tian, but instead allowed Yi Tian to accumulate enough experience. However, as the number of failures increased, whether it was copying the body or avatar, the potential foundation was greatly affected. Until the cloned body and clone tried to fuse the eternal body for many times, the body could no longer bear the price of fusion. He directly disintegrated his cloned body and clone, recondensed the cloned body, practiced breakthrough, and transformed into clone. Then, let the clone body and the clone perform the fusion test of the eternal body again. It can be said that every time the body is recondensed and copied and the clone is created, the resource price it pays is very high, but Yi Tian can afford it. After all, he has harvested all the resources of the ancient Star Clan, which is equivalent to obtaining all the resources of an eternal world, property. What a wealth of wealth, enough for him to waste time and time again. Moreover, there are a lot of resources left by Void Origin Ancestor, so he is not afraid of the consumption of resources. Before you know it, hundreds of times of great robbery have passed. Yi Tian has spent countless resources, and I don't know how many times I have tried. Now that I have full experience in the fusion of the eternal body, I am afraid that the entire Yuan will not be able to find a supreme person with the same experience as him. This day, Yi Tian started another fusion. This time he has great confidence that the fusion can be successful. Let's start. The two bodies turned into two groups of energies and began to fuse together. The ancient star eternal body and the endless eternal body were assimilated little by little, and transformed into the same fusion body. Time passed like this, and I don't know how long it took, and the two eternal bodies finally merged. At the same time, the two bodies also turned into one body. After the fusion, the eternal body is very powerful, but it still does not exceed the category of the upper eternal body. Yi Tian naturally knows the reason, because the ancient star eternal body is not in a perfect state. After all, he doesn't want to waste resources to cultivate the eternal ancient star body to a perfect state and fuse it again and again. But now, the test has been successful, and he is ready to truly cultivate the ancient star eternal body from the very beginning to a perfect state, step by step to cultivate to the realm of the Supreme, and then try to merge with the replica body of the Supreme Being of the perfect endless eternal body. To perfect the ancient star eternal body to the most perfect level, its difficulty is not small, and it will take a long time. Yi Tian spent the next few days on perfecting the ancient star eternal body, perfecting it step by step, correcting the flaws one by one. As the long years passed, the defects of the ancient star became less and less, and the power of the eternal body of the ancient star became stronger and stronger. Finally, on this day, Ji Yuzing's eternal body was flawless, without a single flaw. At this time, the ancient star eternity is the real perfect upper eternity, and combined with the flawless middle eternity endless eternity, once integrated, the new eternity will definitely be able to break the shackles of the upper eternity and be promoted to a new eternal level. For a long time, Yi Tian's ancient Star Clan clone grew to the supreme realm, consuming a lot of resources. Afterwards, Yi Tian once again made the ancient Star Clan clone and the clone fused together. But this time there was a little mistake, but it didn't have much impact. Yi Tian summed up his experience, and after recovering the injuries of the ancient Star Clan clone and the cloned body, he continued to fuse. In this way, after trying again and again, he successfully merged the ancient Star Clan clone with the cloned body again. It has to be said that after the fusion, the new eternal body formed this time has indeed surpassed the upper eternal body. And this kind of eternal body that surpasses the upper eternal body also has a name in the source sea, called the legendary eternal body, which means that it belongs to the legend but no supreme person has seen it. Only succeeding once, Yi Tian will not let the main body try immediately. He needs 100% success, no mistakes are allowed, even if a lot of eternal sources and resources are wasted, he will not hesitate. Fortunately, the ancient star stone, this eternal source, is indeed very terrifying, allowing Yi Tian to absorb the source again and again, and the consumption is not very large, so he can continue to create an ancient Star Clan Supreme Avatar. After Yi Tian disintegrated the fusion body, he continued to create a clone of the Supreme Being, and performed the fusion of the eternal body again. This time, Yi Tian only failed 3 times and successfully merged the 2 eternal bodies. Subsequently, Yi Tian continued this fusion. After many times of fusion, Yi Tian has been able to ensure a 100% success rate, and this is how he prepares to fuse the ancient Star Clan's body with the main body. The Void Origin Hall, the original space. Yi Tian adjusted his state and began to merge. Whether it is the main body, or the body of the ancient Star Clan, the cultivation base is in the realm of the first level supreme, and they are all perfect eternal bodies. At the beginning of the fusion, there was no rejection at all during the 2 bodies, and the fusion process was very smooth. After a long time, the 2 bodies were perfectly fused into one body, and the 2 eternal bodies were completely transformed into a brand new eternal body. This legendary eternal body is still called Endless Eternal Body 5.8. The name Ji Yuxing belongs to the star ancestor after all, I don't like to use this name. Yi Tian muttered. With the brand new Endless Eternal Body, this legendary level eternal body, Yi Tian's strength is more than a little bit stronger than in the past. With the same level of combat power, he does not know how much beyond the Void Source race. Moreover, the endless eternal body that integrates the ancient star eternal body, its life-saving ability is terrifying. Yi Tian is almost the real body of 7 at this moment, that is, the supreme person whose strength is far beyond the method. Although he is only in the realm of the first level supreme, his real combat power is at least not weaker than the ancient Star Clan's body in the 3rd level supreme realm. It is conceivable that once he grows to the realm of the 3rd level supreme, his combat power can at least be comparable to some 6th or 7th level supreme. Chapter 1595 Bringing Relatives into the Void Origin Hall. Yi Tian had previously broken through to the realm of the triple supreme being as a clone of his body. Although he had forcibly broken through regardless of his foundation, he at least had experience. Therefore, if Yi Tian wanted to break through quickly, he would naturally be able to quickly break through to the realm of the triple supreme. However, it is impossible for him to break through like this, he must break through with a perfect foundation state, and he will not use treasures like the original source fluid, otherwise it will be difficult to break the boundaries of the 9 supremes in the future. Even if the original source liquid has been refined many times, it would be very difficult to even become the 9th level supreme. Therefore, Yi Tian would rather have a slower rate of improvement in cultivation-based strength, and not be in a hurry to attack a higher realm. After the fusion of the eternal body, Yi Tian copied a first-class invincible realm Shu Chen, and then let Shu Chen bring the ancient star stone into the ancient star domain, began to retreat in a remote place, and quickly hit the supreme boundary. Then, use some resources to prepare to hit the realm of the 2nd level supreme, or even the 3rd level supreme realm at the fastest speed. In this way, he can continue to take charge of the ancient star region. After all, he still doesn't want to give up the ancient star region. After all, this place can still provide him with a lot of resources. If he just gave up like this, it would be a pity. Void Origin Hall. Yi Tian called Yi Jinpeng over. Ancestor, Yi Jinpeng said respectfully. At this time, Yi Tian gave Yi Jinpeng some tokens of the Son of the Void, and ordered, I can't enter the dark forbidden area with my real body now, you are still in the 3rd class invincible realm, and you can enter the dark forbidden area. Give the token of the Son of the Void to your star ancestors and them, and let them refine the token, then they can enter the Void Origin Hall as the Son of the Void to learn about the Void Source Monument. As for the remaining tokens of the Son of the Void, they will be given to them in the future. The monstrous geniuses of the human race. 1. Yes, Yi Jinpeng replied. Afterwards, Yi Jinpeng returned to the dark forbidden area and handed these tokens to the ancestors such as Xiao Yu, Yi Xingchen, Yi Yu, etc. Soon, Xiao Yu and others also came to the Void Origin Hall. Anyway, in the future, the Void Origin Hall will not allow other children of the Void to enter here, so it is also possible to regard the Void Origin Hall as a treasure of the human race. Husband, Xiao Yu was quite excited when she saw Yi Tian. And Yi Tian's sons and daughters were also very happy to see their father. They quickly asked Yi Tian about the recent situation, and learned that Yi Tian had broken through to the realm of supreme beings. They were naturally extremely happy. In the days that followed, Yi Tian's family were all practicing here, and Yi Jinpeng also selected a few enchanting geniuses from the human race to enter the Void Origin Hall. They will progress very fast. Of course, it is not clear whether they can break through to the second-class invincible, let alone break through to the realm of the supreme. But no matter what, when generations of human geniuses enter the Void Origin Hall, there will always be one who can become the supreme. Rather than expecting the human race to give birth to the third supreme being, Yi Tian felt that he would help his relatives break through to the supreme realm at all costs, which was more reliable. Certainly, if you want to help your relatives break through to the realm of the supreme, I am afraid that it will take a long time, not to calculate the time in terms of the great robbery, but to calculate the time in terms of robbery. In order to help his relatives have a greater hope of being promoted to the supreme, Yi Tian also devoted himself to the eternal ancestor that fits their cultivation path, and then bestowed the eternal ancestor to them, but in this way, it would be very difficult for him to explain. However, he believes that his relatives will not ask too much. So, he spent some years merging into a family of eternal ancestors and bestowed them on Yi Xingchen, Yi Xingyu, Yi Yu and Xiao Yu. As for the others, there is no such treatment, even if Yi Jinpeng Yi did not such treatment. Yi Tian also told his wife and children not to reveal this secret, and didn't say too much. I have to say that after obtaining the eternal ancestors, their progress is very fast. With the help of the Void Origin Monument, their eternal rules are progressing too fast. It is very easy to become a third-class invincible at such a speed. However, it is still difficult to be promoted to the second-class invincible, and there must be enough resources, potential and time. Before you know it, thousands of calamities have passed. At this time, the human race gave birth to many invincibles, and the ancestors were even more numerous. The territory of the human race is spread over many exotic worlds, and it can be said to be a top force in the foreign world. And Yi Jinpeng did not let Yi Tian down. He finally became the real son of the void, broke through the first floor of the Void Tower with his own ability, and created the Void Source Body. Although it is the Void Source Body of the garbage, and the defects it is relatively large, but it is also enough to rank the Source Body of God. Yi Jinpeng broke through the first floor of the Void Tower, and condensed a very ordinary Void Source Body. He did not continue to accumulate information. He was very satisfied. In terms of potential, he was stronger than Tianfeng Yuanshan, second only to Akiba Genzu. Therefore, he did not stay in the realm of the third-class invincible, and began to attack the second-class invincible. Not long after, he successfully entered the realm of the second-class invincible. After breaking through to the second-class invincible realm, Yi Jinpeng could no longer return to the forbidden area of AA darkness, so he entered the Tianline realm and spent most of his time in the heavenly wind sea. And Yi Tian's family members also stepped into the third-class invincible realm early. If they break through to the second-class invincible realm in the future, before the dark forbidden realm is promoted to the eternal world, I am afraid they can only stay in the Tianline realm. This day, Yi Tian's cultivation base has finally reached 780 to the limit of the first level supreme, and he is only one step away from the second level supreme, but if he does not refine the original source fluid, he wants to break through to the second level supreme realm not so easy. Yi Tian didn't want to continue retreating, it just happened that Tianfeng Yuanshan came to him shortly after. Tianfeng Yuanshan knew that Yi Tian had broken through to the realm of the Supreme Being. After all, Yi Tian couldn't keep returning to Tianfenghai, and it was normal for his cultivation to break through. But in the entire Tianfenghai, other than Tianfeng Yuanshan, no one else knew that Yi Tian had broken through to the Supreme Realm. It's a secret, Tianfeng, what are you looking for from me? Yi Tian asked. Tianfeng Yuanshan said solemnly, there is hope for the Nether Hall Master to break through to the realm of the second-level Supreme Being. Once he breaks through, his strength will far exceed me. At that time, Tianfenghai is afraid that it will not be able to compete with the Nether Hall, so I want to stop it. He needs your help. How to do it? Yi Tian said. Tianfeng Yuanshan said the plan. His plan is very simple, because the Netherworld Palace needs a chance in a treasure land to attack the realm of the second level supreme. Therefore, when they besieged the Nether Hall Master in that treasure land and destroyed the promotion of the Nether Hall Master, they had better be able to kill him. Okay, I got it. Yi Tian agreed. After all, when he was still weak, Tianfenghai blessed him, otherwise he might not be able to grow to this stage, so helping Tianfeng Yuanshan is a matter of course. Chapter 1596 Dongyuan leaves the light. Donghuan Mountain. This is one of the treasure mountains of Yuanai, which exists in the void of Yuanai. The void of the Yuanai is extremely stable. Even the Supreme Being can hardly tear the void of the Yuanai, but there are naturally unstable voids in some places. There will be some treasures born in the depths of the void, and Dongyuan Mountain is one of them. 1. However, Dongyuan Mountain has no owner, because Dongyuan will be completely closed every few years, and when it will be opened again, no one knows. There seems to be no rules, and many powerful supreme people dare not really settle in Dongyuan. Wanson, what if I get trapped? Moreover, the treasure land of Dongyuan Mountain is only a little better for cultivation, and there is only one real chance, that is Dongyuan Liguang. Dongyuan Liguang will cause great erosion to the body of the Supreme Being, but it also has an advantage, that is, it can break the shackles to a certain extent, so some Supreme people will use Dongyuan Liguang to break through the realm. Of course, those who think they have high potential and hope to be at a higher level will not use Dongyuan Liguang to break through. The sequelae of Dongyuan Liguang are bigger than the original source liquid, and the effect is very general. It can only be effective on the first level Supreme and the second level Supreme. Yi Tian muttered. Therefore, he has no interest in Dongyuan Liguang. And Tianfeng Yuanshan's time to become a Supreme Being is not very long, so he has no interest in Dongyuan Liguang. Unless he has stayed in the realm of the Supreme Being for infinite years, he will choose such behavior to break through the realm. But even with Tico Liguang breakthrough, the success rate is not necessarily high. I have to say that the Nether Hall Master is very adventurous this time. In order to attack the realm of the second level Supreme Being this time, the Nether Hall Master spent almost half of his net worth to purchase various treasures to assist breakthroughs, plus a variety of treasures to heal Dongyuan Liguang's injuries. The news will be leaked. Otherwise, Tianfeng Yuanshan didn't know that the Nether Hall Master would go to Dongyuan Mountain to attack the realm of the second level Supreme Being. At this time, Yi Tian and Tianfeng Yuanshan came to Dongyuan Mountain early, preparing to ambush here. Yi Tian, when the Nether Hall Master begins to retreat under the light of Dongyuan, we will take advantage of him at a critical moment, so that we can hit him hard and kill him. Tianfeng Yuanshan reminded. Yi Tian didn't say anything, and didn't reveal that he could easily kill the Nether Hall Master. Since Tianfeng Yuanshan has arranged it this way, let's arrange it this way. Time passed slowly, and finally on this day, the Nether Hall Master came to Dongyuan Mountain. However, Tianfeng Yuanshan's expression changed. Just because the Nether Hall Master did not come to Dongyuan Mountain alone this time, but also brought a supreme person. It's him. Tianfeng Yuanshan looked at the face of the man displayed on a source device in his hand, and was immediately embarrassed. He immediately put away the source device and stopped spying, so as not to be noticed by the Supreme Being. What's wrong? Yi Tian asked. Tianfeng Yuan Divine Tao, the Supreme Being who followed the Nether Hall Master, is very powerful. Although he is not a second-level Supreme, his strength belongs to the top of the first-level Supreme realm. The opponent is not a son of the Void, but it is said that with an extraordinary origin, his real strength is not weaker than the top son of the Void, and he is much stronger than the Nether Hall Master. The other party is here to protect the law. Yi Tian guessed. It should be like this. Tianfeng Yuanshan said with a wry smile. It seems that we underestimated the Nether Hall Master. He should also be afraid of other people's surprise attacks, so he invited the TC Source God to protect the law. If there is a TC Source God to protect the law, it is very difficult to kill the Nether Hall Master. Do you still do it then? Yi Tian said. Tianfeng Yuanshan hesitated for a long time, and finally nodded and said, do it, but it is not to kill the Nether Hall Master, but to destroy his promotion at a critical moment. For a long time, I will not be able to attack the realm of the second-level Supreme again. Although the source of the TC is powerful, it cannot kill us. All right, Yi Tian nodded. Somewhere in Dongyuan Mountain, this area is the area where Dongyuan Liguang is located, and Dongyuan Liguang covers this area. At this time, there are 6 first-level Supreme Beings attacking the realm of second-level Supreme Beings here. Of course, every supreme person will set up a defensive formation to prevent others from interfering with him. Under normal circumstances, other supreme beings will not come here to destroy the promotion of other supreme beings. In addition, Tico Ligwang covers a wide area, so they will not affect each other. The Nether Hall Master and the Source God of TC came here. I saw that the Nether Hall Master had arranged a large defensive formation, and entered the Dongyuan Ligwang area, while the source of the TC was guarding outside to prevent anyone from interfering with the Nether Hall Master's practice. As soon as he entered the Dongyuan Ligwang area, the endless Dongyuan Ligwang poured into the body of the Nether Hall Master. Even if he wears a defensive source device and protects himself with the Supreme Body Protection Technique, he still cannot completely block Dongyuan Ligwang. Besides, he wouldn't really block Dongyuan Ligwang, otherwise how would he attack the realm of the second-level Supreme Being? I saw that the Nether Hall Master took the initiative to absorb Dongyuan Ligwang and let Dongyuan Ligwang affect his body. With the continuous erosion of Dongyuan Ligwang, the body of the Nether Hall Master is rapidly decaying like a rotten iron block. Immediately, the Nether Hall Master took out a large number of treasures that could prevent this kind of decay and swallowed them one by one, which would be better. Quote. Can't waste time, I can't endure too long in Dongyuan Ligwang, I must break through as soon as possible. The Nether Hall Master murmured. Immediately, he refined all kinds of resources and treasures that aided the breakthrough into the body one by one, and used the power of Dongyuan Ligwang to attack the realm of the second-level Supreme. Boom! The body of the Nether Hall Master began to undergo weak changes, and the terrifying energy impacted the shackles in the dark with the help of the eternal rules. This is the imprisonment of the Supreme Being by Yuanai. Imprisoned, can enter the realm of the second-level Supreme. The fusion of the body and soul of the Supreme Being is itself an incompatible life in the Source Sea, so it is very difficult to break through. Even if the Nether Hall Master has made so many preparations and came to Dongyuan Mountain, he is not 100% sure, but at least 70% sure, which is pure enough. As long as there are no other Supreme Beings to disturb me, I have great hope of breaking through. The Nether Hall Master murmured. Time passed slowly, and after a while, Tianfeng Yuanshan couldn't wait any longer. Yi Tian, let's do it, we can't wait any longer. You go to hold Chihai Yuanshan, and I will attack the formation of the Nether Hall Master and destroy his promotion. 1. Tianfeng Yuan Divine Tao, leave the Source God of TC to me. Yi Tian said with a smile. Wow, he took a step forward and came to the source of the TC. Chapter 1597 An Unexpected Opportunity. Chihai Yuanshan noticed Yi Tian's arrival, and immediately said, Your Excellency, leave here, this area has been occupied by my friend, please give me some face. He didn't want to fight, because it would easily affect the Nether Hall Master, otherwise, if he was in the outside world, he would have been rude right away. Original God of TC, I have a conflict with the Nether Hall Master. If you choose to leave, I will not stop you. Yi Tian said. When the Source God of TC heard Yi Tian's words, he was immediately very annoyed. You are very courageous, get out of the way immediately, or die. The Source God of TC said angrily. Boom. Yi Tian's breath shrouded this area, crushing Chihai Yuanshan, his meaning was very clear, that is to do it. The Source God of TC no longer cares about anything, just do it directly, as long as you are careful, it will not destroy the promotion of the Nether Hall Master. He was already ready to kill Yi Tian, so that his anger could be quelled. Supreme Skill. Netherworld. A gloomy world appeared directly around Yi Tian, and the terrifying Black Hands were completely transformed by the eternal rules of darkness, and the power of each blow was enough to severely damage the ordinary first-level Supreme. And these 780 Black Hands all grabbed Yi Tian, as if to tear Yi Tian to pieces. Nice Supreme Skill, but unfortunately its power is too weak. Yi Tian sneered. The next moment, an even more terrifying force directly shattered this secluded world. Then, the eternal rules of the 5 elements were mobilized by Yi Tian and turned into a world. Supreme Ancestral Skill, 5 Elements Eternal Realm. This is a supreme ancestral skill that was derived step by step from the ban of the 5 elements and was finally derived from the integration of other invincible skills of the 5 elements. The supreme ancestral skills of the 5 elements eternal realm have both suppression, seal and defense effects, which are comparable to the top supreme skills. Boom! The power of the 5 elements eternal realm acts on the body of the Source God of the Sea, and the power of the source of the Sea of Aat is suddenly reduced, and it is almost difficult to exert half of the strength. At this time, the Source God Chihai finally realized that Yi Tian's strength was above him, far from being an ordinary 1-level supreme. Escape. He wanted to escape, but he couldn't tear the void here, which had been completely suppressed by the 5 elements eternal realm. More importantly, this is a treasure land in the depths of the void. Even if many escaped treasures cannot leave here, they must go out through the entrance and exit. In other words, he couldn't escape. On the other side, Tianfeng Yuenshin attacked the defensive formation arranged by the Nether Hall Master. Boom! The attacks hit the defensive formation again and again, causing the void inside the formation to vibrate, and the Nether Hall Master's breakthrough was affected. Someone attacked the formation. The Nether Hall Master knew that someone was blocking his breakthrough, and even guessed who it was. It must be his nemesis, Tianfeng Yuenshin. He was already very careful, and even invited Chihai Yuenshin, but he did not expect that Tianfeng Yuenshin would know about it and attack him. He didn't know why Chihai Yuenshin didn't stop Tianfeng Yuenshin, but at this moment he had to use his whole heart to attack. But the shock of the void is getting more and more serious. Under such circumstances, how can he break through with all his heart? Puff! The Nether Hall Master vomited blood violently, and his body began to crack. The impact was interrupted. It was considered that the breakthrough failed, and the foundation was affected, and the body was seriously injured. Tianfeng Yuenshin, the Nether Hall Master, was furious. Wow! The Nether Hall Master rushed out of the Great Formation, and really saw that Tianfeng Yuenshin was attacking the Great Formation. Tianfeng Yuenshin, I'm going to fight with you. The Nether Hall Master forcibly used a forbidden technique to quickly recover from his injuries, and he fought with Tianfeng Yuenshin. It seems that the Nether Hall Master has failed to break through, so don't play. Yi Tian is not going to let Cha Haiyuan God leave. After all, he has already offended him, and with Cha Haiyuan God's temperament, he will definitely retaliate against him, and even implicate the human race. Therefore, CJFI, kill it. Broken. Yi Tian casually smashed the nothingness and bombarded Chihai Yuenshin. The next moment, Chihai Yuenshin's body was smashed to pieces, his vitality dissipated, and he was killed by a single blow. Then, Yi Tian put away the void ball of the source god of TC, and began to sit and watch the battle between the source god of the wind and the palace master of the netherworld. He didn't go up to help, and actually didn't need his help. The Nether Hall Master forcibly recovered his injuries, and he couldn't support it for too long, and the final victory must belong to Tianfeng Yuenshin. The Nether Hall Master also knew that the source god of Chihai had fallen, and his heart became more and more desperate. In such a situation, how could he be the opponent of the source god of Tianfeng? Soon, his injury relapsed, and it was too late to stabilize the injury. Unexpected, Tianfeng Yuenshin struck Yu Xing once again, injuring him again. In a short time, the Nether Hall Master was already severely wounded and dying, and there was no longer any hope of surviving. Tianfeng Yuenshin did not leave any hope for the Nether Hall Master, and did not stop at all. In the end, the Nether Hall Master still died in the hands of Tianfeng Yuenshin. Tianfeng, let's go, Yi Tian urged. Tianfeng Yuenshin nodded and left here quickly. Soon after, the two returned to Tianline realm. Yi Tian, it's really thanks to you this time, otherwise I wouldn't be able to kill the Nether Hall Master. Tianfeng Yuenshin said excitedly, I am also a member of Tianfenghai, so naturally I should take action. Yi Tian said with a smile. Although Tianfeng Yuenshin didn't know the level of Yi Tian's strength, but Yi Tian was able to kill Chihai Yuenshin, his strength was probably far beyond his imagination. He didn't ask too much, so as not to make Yi Tian unhappy. The two chatted for a while and then separated. In the days to come, Tianfenghai plans to erode the site of the Netherworld Palace. Although it will not destroy the Netherworld Palace, it can at least take the opportunity to gain some benefits. And Yi Tian also indicated that he would retreat to practice, so Tianfeng Yuenshin would not bother him. Void Origin Hall. Yi Tian came back, tidying up the void ball of Chihai Yuenshin. He had no interest in the void ball of the source god of Chihai. After all, what good things could be in the void ball of a first-level supreme person? But soon, he knew that he had underestimated the source of the TC, and the other party's worth was really extraordinary, at least much higher than the worth of the top 10 supreme people in the ancient world of stars. Each item was sorted out by Yi Tian and placed in the treasury of the Void Origin Hall after being classified. And Artifact Spirit also helped organize. After all, Artifact Spirit has more knowledge and can often identify good things that Yi Tian does not know. Unexpected, the Tool Spirit picked up a black statue and suddenly gave off a shocked look. Master, you have got a big chance. Qi Ling opened his mouth. Chapter 1598 Yuenshin Pavilion. What big chance? Yi Tian was a little curious. He stared at the black statue, only felt that the material of the statue was special, but he didn't find it useful. The tool spirit pointed at the black statue and said, "Master, do you know what this is?" "I don't know." Yi Tian shook his head. Qi Ling said excitedly, "This is the proof of the Yuanshan Pavilion. With this black statue, you can join the Yuanshan Pavilion." "Original God Pavilion, what kind of power is this?" Yi Tian asked quickly. Qi Ling Dao, "The Source God Pavilion is not strictly a force, but an idle organization or a chamber of commerce. In the Source God Pavilion, supreme people can trade items, issue tasks and buy information with each other. In the Source Sea, many a times, it is extremely difficult to find a treasure that suits you or is relatively rare, and you can't even buy it, but you can buy it in the Yuanshan Pavilion, so many supreme people want to join Yuanshan. However, Yuanshan the requirements for entering the pavilion are very high. In addition to being required by the Source God Pavilion, you must obtain the Source God statue before you can join the Source God Pavilion. A. When the previous master was still alive, the previous master was invited by the Source God Pavilion, but the previous owner was too arrogant and did not want to join the Source God Pavilion. Nor will it fall. The 12 ancestors of the Yuanshan Pavilion. Yi Tian continued to listen and quickly learned what the strength of the 12 ancestors of the Source God Pavilion was. Half-step eternity. The realm above the supreme is the eternal realm, but whether there is an eternal realm in the Source God, the artifact spirit is not clear, but the half-step eternal realm that spans the 9-level supreme is there, and the number of such strong men, but there are still many. The void origin ancestor is a half-step eternal realm, but it is relatively weak in the half-step eternal realm, while the 12 ancestors of the Yuanshan Pavilion belong to the top existence in the half-step eternal realm, and the 12 the ancestors united, enough to deter the countless forces in the Source Sea. The 12 ancestors didn't like fighting, but they liked trading very much, so they established Yuanshan, but they had high requirements for those who joined. It is conceivable that it is a great opportunity to obtain the statue of Yuanshan who joined the Yuanshan Pavilion. Then under the instruction of the tool spirit, Yi Tian began to refine the statue. After a long time, Yi Tian succeeded in refining. "Master, this statue is a certificate. You can now use the statue to cross the Yuanshan void and enter the Yuanshan Pavilion hidden in the depths of the void, so as to trade with other supreme beings in the Yuanshan Pavilion," said the tool spirit. Yi Tian nodded. Immediately, he let the cloned body carry a large amount of resources to the Yuanshan Pavilion. The Genesis God statue wrapped Yi Tian, instantly traversing the infinite distance, and came directly to the Genesis God Pavilion. This shuttle method is more convenient than the Void Origin Hall, but it cannot be used during battle, so the void is rippling during the battle, and the Origin God statue cannot be successfully opened. Otherwise, the original TC Source God would not have perished. Source God Pavilion. Yi Tian came in, and as soon as he entered here, he sensed dozens of supreme beings. There are not many members of the Yuanshan Pavilion, and it is impossible for these supreme beings to stay in the Yuanshan Pavilion often, so unless there are gatherings, the number of supreme beings here will not be many. New member detected, please register. The voice of the Yuanshan Pavilion artifact spirit appeared in Yi Tian's mind. Yi Tian immediately registered his membership in the Yuanshan Pavilion according to the instructions of the tool spirit, and took the Endless Ancestor as his new name. Immediately, he began to hang out in the Yuanshan Pavilion. A store can be opened in the Yuanshan Pavilion. The storefront is not a real storefront, and no one is there, but it will mark what treasures are sold in the storefront. If you are interested, you can communicate with the store owner. It's also a different kind of deal. Yi Tian also saw many tasks in the area of Yuanshan Pavilion, most of which were trading tasks, such as someone collecting the original source liquid, etc., but these tasks were almost all in exchange for things. Yi Tian saw a lot of good things in the trading tasks, and even helped him a lot. By asking Qi Ling, Yi Tian knew some of the situation of Yuanshan Pavilion. For example, Yuanshan Pavilion will hold a large-scale trade fair every 100 times of robbery, and many supreme people will prepare treasures to trade here. And the next big trade fair will be after 23 Great Calamities. Yi Tian prepares for the 23 Great Tribulation period before entering the Yuanshan Pavilion to trade, and only then can he trade for good things. During the 23 years of the Great Tribulation, Yi Tian, as the ancient star clan Shu Chen, collected resources from the ancient star clan to prepare for the large-scale trade fair in the Yuanshan Pavilion. For Flowersa, in a blink of an eye, the 23 Great Tribulations had passed. This day, Yi Tian entered the Source God Pavilion again. This time, he saw a large number of supreme beings. The realm of his first-level supreme is simply very inconspicuous here. Even if there are many 9th-level supremes here, there may even be a half-step eternal realm powerhouse. There are many trading areas in the Yuenshin Pavilion, and any supreme person can try the store to sell his own items for free. Yi Tian also got a shop and hung the things he didn't need on it. He didn't need to exchange things for things, and he could buy these things with eternal coins. Eternal coin is a kind of currency used for exchanges between supreme beings. This kind of currency is not a simple currency, but a kind of currency condensed from the origin of eternal source and some special treasure materials. Point 0. According to the value of the eternal source, the eternal coins are also divided into 3 types: low-level eternal coins, medium eternal coins, and high-level eternal coins. Yi Tian changed the unnecessary things into eternal coins for the convenience of future transactions. Moreover, Yi Tian's price is very cheap, so many supreme people have entered Yi Tian's store to buy. He only left an avatar to manage the store here, and the real body is looking for suitable trading partners. It didn't take long for Yi Tian to find a trading partner. The other party is a supreme person of the 3rd level peak and asked to trade the original source fluid, and among the many treasures listed, there is a treasure that Yi Tian needs. Eternal Ancient Pine Leaf. The effect of eternal leaf like Dao leaf is suitable. If the eternal ancient pine leaf is used, it can increase the chance to break through the bottleneck. After all, it can make people's perception of the eternal rules instantly increase to an unimaginable level. More importantly, the eternal ancient pine leaves will not affect the root problem, and there is no sequelae of the original source fluid. However, the original source liquid can 100% help the 1st level supreme person to break through to the 2nd level supreme person, but the eternal ancient pine leaf cannot do it. But Yi Tian doesn't see the original source liquid, but he sees the eternal ancient pine leaves. Immediately, he walked up to the triple supreme and asked to trade with the other party. Chapter 1599 The Eternal Tribulation Domain. Do you want the original source fluid? Yi Tian sent a message to the other party. The 3rd level supreme person replied, yes. Do you have primordial source fluid on your body? Trading space, chat in detail. Yi Tian suggested. Can. Woohoo. The 2 entered a trading space, and only 2 people were allowed to enter. In such a trading space, other supreme beings could not spy on, participate in, or destroy. I need eternal ancient pine leaf. Yi Tian spoke directly. The 3rd level supreme person nodded and said, I have an eternal ancient pine leaf in my hand, and a drop of the original source liquid is exchanged for an eternal ancient pine leaf. This value is not equal. Yi Tian shook his head and said, the 1st level supreme of the original source liquid has 100% breakthrough to the 2nd level supreme, but the eternal ancient pine leaves cannot guarantee it. The other party said solemnly, the original source liquid is defective, 780, will reduce the potential, but the eternal ancient pine leaves will not. Yi Tian smiled and said, the defect of the original source liquid is not a defect at all for the supreme person who wants to use the original source liquid to break through. If you want to be promoted to the half-step eternal realm, you will not trade the original source, liquid. 1. Then what price did you say? The other party gave in. Yi Tian thought for a moment and said, 1 drop of primordial source liquid needs to trade 2 eternal ancient pine leaves plus 10,000 inferior eternal coins. 1. The price is too high. The other frowned. Yi Tian said with an indifferent attitude, if you want to trade, trade, if you don't want to, then forget it. 1 inch. Although the eternal ancient pine leaves are rare, they can still be found today, but the original source liquid will not be born again. Only some ancient supreme ones still have a few in their hands, and they may not even have them. If Yi Tian hadn't extorted a little bit of primordial source liquid from Xingzhu, there is no way to obtain primordial source liquid now. Therefore, he is not afraid that the other party will not trade. If the other party is really unwilling to trade, he can trade other treasures similar to the eternal ancient pine leaves with the original source, which can also be easily traded. Okay, I agree, the other said. Under the witness of Yuenshin Pavilion's artifact spirit, Yi Tian completed the transaction with the other party. After the transaction was completed, Yi Tian came out of the trading space, walked around again, and traded some treasures that were conducive to breakthrough and had no sequelae, but the grades were not as good as the eternal ancient pine leaves. Sudden, a supreme man said, I know the entrance to a low-level eternal tribulation domain, who wants to go in? However, the entrance to the low-level eternal calamity domain is not stable, so only 1, 2 or 3 people under 100 can be allowed at one time. In order to prevent the entrance from collapsing, I will only bring 90 supreme people below the 4th level into it, and now I will start to sell places. A. What, you actually found the entrance to a low-level eternal robbery domain? Many supreme beings were shocked. Yi Tian also heard it, and immediately became interested. The eternal tribulation domain is not an ordinary place. After breaking a certain boundary, the beasts with more than 100,000 tribulation yuan will become the eternal tribulation clan. These eternal tribulation clan are similar to the supreme beings. Eternal tribulation domain is derived from the depths of the void. The low-level eternal robbery domain only allows the 1, 2, and 3 level supreme people to enter it. The intermediate level eternal calamity domain only allows 4, 5, and 6 level supreme people to enter it, and the high-level eternal calamity domain allows 7, 8, and 9 level supreme people to enter it. The supreme eternal tribulation domain can allow half-step eternal realm to enter it. It is precisely because of the existence of the eternal tribulation domain that you and I can hardly see the tribulation beasts comparable to the supreme. Because, almost all the robbery beasts comparable to the supreme are in the eternal robbery domain. The robbery beasts that are comparable to the supreme are called the eternal robbery clan. They are different from the robbery beasts. The wisdom of the robbery beasts is not very high, but the eternal robbery clan has developed into a race. Their strength is not only strong, but also very high. The comprehension of, can create supreme skills, can cultivate, and does not need to rely on the great calamity to grow. The strength of the eternal tribulation clan is very strong and relatively united. If the eternal tribulation clan's growth rate is too slow, and it has been chased by the supreme, otherwise it will definitely develop into the top racial force in the source sea. The value of any eternal robbery clan is comparable to an eternal source, because the eternal robbery clan will not only contain blood robbery, origin rules robbing crystals, bones, but even a very precious substance eternal robbing spar. The eternal robbery stone is one of the rare treasures that can temper the eternal body. The supreme person who has condensed the eternal body, or the ordinary eternal robbery body, needs to continue to be tempered. For example, Yi Tian's endless eternal body is currently in the entry stage. Beginning, small success, great success, consummation. These are the 4 realms of the eternal body. If you want to temper the eternal body, general resources are useless at all, but the eternal robbery spar has such an effect. But the eternal robbery spar not only has an effect on the eternal body, but also has a huge effect on the general eternal robbery body, so this resource is almost in short supply and cannot be purchased at all. Therefore, if you want to obtain the eternal robbery spar, you can only choose the eternal robbery clan to hunt and kill. But the eternal tribulation clan is almost hidden in the eternal tribulation domain and cannot be found at all. Because of this, I heard about the existence of a low-level eternal calamity domain this time, which is a great opportunity for some 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level supreme, especially for 3rd level supreme. Of course, the eternal tribulation territory is also very dangerous, and if you don't mind, you will fall. For example, the 1st level supreme person hardly dared to enter the eternal tribulation domain. After all, it is the territory of the eternal tribulation clan. If it is surrounded, there is no way to ask for support. However, a small number of the triple supremes were ready to take the risk and sought the supreme person to buy a place. The supreme being is also the supreme being of the 3rd level, so he will also enter the eternal tribulation domain. The price of the quota is not expensive, only 10,000 eternal coins are needed. But 90 places, that is equivalent to 900,000 eternal coins. But this kind of business can only be done once. After all, there are other supreme people who know the entrance and location, and they will definitely publicize it. How can he sell the quota? Many supremes are actually waiting for the next opportunity and do not want to waste eternal coins. Yi Tian doesn't want 5.8 between tiers. What if there are not many in it? Even if it is really dangerous inside, he is not afraid. After all, he copied his body into it and is not afraid of danger at all. So, Yi Tian paid 10,000 eternal coins to buy a place. The time to enter the realm of eternal robbery is after this assembly, and this assembly will continue for millions of years. Yi Tian left the Source God Pavilion immediately. He was ready to immediately attack the realm of the 2nd level supreme. If the breakthrough was successful, his strength would increase greatly, and he would gain even more if he entered the low-level eternal tribulation domain. In order to ensure that he can break through in time when heading to the eternal tribulation domain, he opened the time acceleration formation. Immediately, he took out 2 eternal ancient pine leaves and other treasures, ready to attack the realm of the 2nd level supreme in the Void Origin Hall. Chapter 1600 The Double Supreme. The 2 eternal ancient pine leaves turned into streamers and entered Yi Tian's soul. At this moment, Yi Tian felt the incomparable joy of his soul. His comprehension and his understanding of the eternal rules seemed to have suddenly risen to an unbelievable realm. Afterwards, Yi Tian took some other auxiliary treasures to help him reach the realm of the second-level supreme. Time passes slowly. Although Yi Tian is about 70% to 80% sure about his breakthrough, he is not 100% sure after all, so he is very calm and does not let his mood fluctuate. After a long time, Yi Tian's body began to change. Numerous sources of origins poured into Yi Tian's body, breaking the shackles and absorbing external energy to promote the transformation of the body. To put it simply, Yi Tian successfully broke through to the realm of the second-level supreme. Afterwards, Yi Tian took another moment to stabilize the realm. At this time, the time is almost up. Wow! Yi Tian entered the Yuanshan Pavilion. Yuanshan Pavilion, a trading space. A supreme man entered here, and quickly gathered 91 supreme men. At this time, the Supreme Feng 29 Feng Yuanshan who discovered the Eternal Tribulation domain said, "Since everything is here, let's go." Numerous supreme people nodded, and immediately followed the Storm Source God and moved directly to an area of the Source Sea with the help of the Source God Pavilion's ability to move. Numerous supreme beings followed the Storm Source God in the Source Sea, and it didn't take long for them to come to a place where time and space were distorted. There are many places where time and space are distorted in the Source Sea, which is a common area in the Source Sea. These time-space distorted places often give birth to some unique void territories, but the time-space distorted land here is very small, and if you are not close to it, you can hardly notice it. Moreover, it should be born here not very long years. It's here. Come in with me, the source of the storm whispered. Whoa whoa whoa, a person of the highest name entered this area, and soon, under the guidance of the god of storms, he spotted a black crack. This black crack is the entrance to the Eternal Tribulation domain. It really is the entrance to the Eternal Tribulation domain. A triple supreme was recognized at a glance. Another third-level supreme person nodded slightly. It is indeed the Eternal Tribulation realm. I have been to the entrance of a high-level Eternal Tribulation realm. Although I did not dare to enter, the breath is the same. This Eternal Tribulation realm is indeed only at the primary level. Quote, "Let's go in together. Once we enter, this entrance will be more unstable, and we cannot enter other supreme beings in a short time, otherwise the entrance will disappear, and it will be a little troublesome for us to leave." Storm Origin Divine Tao. The other supremes nodded and immediately entered the Eternal Tribulation domain one by one. And Yi Tian also entered this Eternal Tribulation domain together, and at the moment of entering, he immediately used a series of defense-type supreme skills to prevent himself from being attacked. However, he was not attacked. Obviously, there is no one guarded by the Eternal Tribulation clan at this entrance. This is also very normal. After all, it has never been discovered before, and the Eternal Tribulation clan naturally does not pay much attention to it. Moreover, if it is really discovered, if it is guarded here, it will be very dangerous. Whoa whoa whoa, after a famous person entered the Eternal Tribulation domain, he immediately dispersed, and his hidden breath and figure sneaked into the Eternal Tribulation domain. Yi Tian also hid his breath and slowly shuttled in a certain direction. The goal of entering this time is very simple, that is, to find some Eternal Robbery clan, kill them, and obtain the Eternal Robbery spar on their body. Soon, Yi Tian saw an Eternal Tribulation clan. The other party was hurrying in the void like an ancient star, and was bumped into by Yi Tian. The strength of this Eternal Tribulation clan is not weak, roughly comparable to the Supreme One at the peak of the first level. Yi Tian discovered it, and it also happened to Yi Tian. A cultivator from the outside world. The first moment this Eternal Tribulation clan saw Yi Tian was to flee, not to kill Yi Tian. After all, Yi Tian's current cultivation base has reached the realm of the second-level Supreme, and he doesn't think he is an opponent, so he chooses to run away. However, it cannot escape. Wow! Yi Tian crossed the void with one hand, and shattered the body of this Eternal Robbery family with just one blow, and all the vitality was annihilated, leaving only some blood robbery, origin rules robbery crystal, robbery bone, and a one-person height size. The Eternal Robbery spar. Yi Tian waved his hand, put away these things, and then continued to look for other Eternal Robbers. At the same time, the Eternal Tribulation clan in this Eternal Tribulation domain knew that an outsider had broken in, and immediately assembled to resist the outsiders. The Supremes in the Eternal Tribulation clan fought each other in this Eternal Tribulation domain, and the Eternal Tribulation clan fell one by one, but there were also the Supremes who fell into the trap of the Eternal Tribulation clan and were surrounded and killed in the end. And Yi Tian's strength was very strong, he encountered several Eternal Tribulation clan and killed him easily. This day, Yi Tian encountered an eternal tribulation clan at the second level supreme level, and with just one blow, the opponent was seriously injured and dying. If it was the second blow, this eternal tribulation clan would surely die. But at this moment, a picture scroll appeared in the void and wanted to take Yi Tian into it. This picture scroll is not an ordinary picture scroll, but a source device. I saw Yi Tian fully motivated the endless eternal body, used a variety of power-type supreme ancestral skills, and superimposed on the shattering void. Break. 797 Yi Tian grows, and as soon as it is broken, it is connected. This blow has surpassed the triple supreme, and is almost comparable to the full-strength strike of the fifth supreme. In the picture scroll, the three eternal tribulation clan were directly killed. No, this supreme being is too powerful, let's go together. An eternal tribulation clan appeared, and there were about dozens of them. Yi Tian knew that the eternal tribulation clan was the bait, but he was not afraid at all. With his strength, he is almost an invincible existence in this low-level eternal tribulation domain. Even if he encounters a large number of eternal tribulation clan, he may not be able to fight, but no one can stop him if he wants to leave. Kill. A war started. Yi Tian is too perfect in every aspect, whether it is speed, strength, defense is far from these eternal tribulation clan, although these eternal tribulation clan are also comparable to the genius of the Son of the Void, but the gap is too big compared to Yi Tian. In a short while, some eternal tribulation clan died in Yi Tian's hands. And Yi Tian doesn't want to continue to fight, after all, he doesn't know how many eternal tribulation clans there are in this eternal tribulation domain. The fall of this replica body is a trivial matter, but the loss of these eternal robbery spar is too great a loss. So, Yi Tian rushed out of the encirclement and quickly disappeared.